Hey, you know that guy who just before the green flag keys up his mic and asks, "Anybody got a setup?" Well, this is him. This is Adam, and hey, Adam needs some help. On the other hand, this guy over here, this is Steve. Steve is a solid racer and he knows his way around the garage. Steve's problem is time. With a job and a family, he can't find enough time to build competitive setups and to race as often as he likes. But as luck would have it, Steve knows a secret. He lets the Majors Garage crew chiefs do the setup work so he can focus on the racing. At majorsgarage.com, Steve can get setups for over 60 cars on the iRacing service. So no matter what series he wants to jump into, he is covered. Anybody really should tell Adam. See you at the garage. Hey, you know that guy who just before the green flag keys up his mic and asks, "Anybody got a setup?" Well, this is him. This is Adam, and hey, Adam needs some help. On the other hand, this guy over here, this is Steve. Steve is a solid racer and he knows his way around the garage. Steve's problem is time. With a job and a family, he can't find enough time to build competitive setups and to race as often as he likes. But as luck would have it, Steve knows a secret. He lets the Majors Garage crew chiefs do the setup work so he can focus on the racing. At majorsgarage.com, Steve can get setups for over 60 cars on the iRacing service. So no matter what series he wants to jump into, he is covered. Anybody really should tell Adam. See you at the garage.
Nearly to the end of the 2025 campaign for the Major Series, we join you from the virtual Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Almost missed that part. Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. And boy, this is a fantastic place to go racing. Of course, open in 1970. It's here in 2025, at least virtually on the sim and, of course, in real life down in Braselton, Georgia. Welcome to Pit Stop TV and the virtual Braselton, Georgia. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV with Blue Carl alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the 2025 Major Series. Today's coverage from Road Atlanta is brought to you by the Major Series, by Majors Garage, and by Whiplash Simcams. And I will be open and honest. It has been a rough week here at Broadcast HQ. This is my second round with COVID personally, so take it easy on me today. It has been a very interesting last few days, but we have gotten through. We have made it here to another Majors race day, and that is all I've been waiting for, to just get through the weekend and get to this Majors round. Round 9 here, Blue. It's going to be a fun one here at Road Atlanta.
I absolutely agree with as many overtaking spots as this has. Even turn 1, I've seen overtakes through. 2 and 3, you'll see plenty of attempts there, I'm sure. Coming down through the S's after 4, you'll get turn 5, which, once again, another beautiful overtaking spot, including that straight lean down to 6 and 7. Beautiful double right-hander leading onto the longest straight of the track. Once again, beautiful overtaking spot. You will see a lot of passes through here, as well as at that final chicane coming into 11 onto that right-hander, back onto the straight. I think we're going to see some beautiful action on this 2.54 mile long track.
That we are. This is, of course, an IMSA multi-class event, this emulating that of Petit Le Mans. So we will have GTPs, LMP2s, and GTD cars on the racetrack this evening that you see there in that blue track layout. Cars are getting ready to roll off the grid, though, so we'll speed this along here quickly. The Major Series has a driver standings and a team standings. This is a look at the driver standings with Nathan Dowd on top, Christian Challoner, the nearest competitor to him. And I'd say after Robert Nash, a lot of these guys probably can be written out of the Drivers' Championship at Blue. Things are still decently fun up at the top of the driver standings, and team has been pretty fun to watch as well.
Take a look at teams here. Giga Racing Team, 4,267 points. Sector 5 Racing following behind by 148. They are the closest with position 2. Third by Dog Bear Bark, 451 points back. Now, can see Sector 5 trying to get as close as they can through this, and we're going to see hard fighting through there with how close this point championship is currently.
Yeah, a lot of these teams... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, but back that, I don't know how close everything else is here, but I'm sure we'll see good fighting for whatever position any of these teams can get.
Yeah, a lot of these positions are definitely still up for grabs. A lot of these teams don't run in top split. They might run usually in second split, so they aren't earning the same points. You know, they aren't necessarily making every single round. That's why you see such big gaps deeper down in the order through these top 24 teams. But with that out of the way, we won't be taking a look at the schedule just yet. We'll take a look at the schedule once we get racing, have a down moment in the action. Let's first take a look at the Lucky Performance starting grid, and this is an overall listing. We're going to do it real quick before we go racing. Ross Banfield, Nathan Dowd, your front row. These, of course, are your GTP drivers. Dalton Fredericks, Richard Kumlin, they're in 3rd and 4th. Then Jimbo Pfeiffer, Austin Peterson, 5th and 6th. Sebastian Jackson, Logan Smith, 7th and 8th. And finally, Robert Covey and Jason Wallet round out your top 10.
Inside at P11, starting off the LMP2 field, Jordan Hendricks with Christian Challoner. I might have said that wrong. In 12th outside, back over on the inside, we have Justin Barria, Robert Nash on the inside at the 96. And then back over on the inside, we got Fabio Braga? Lionel Castillo holding that number 2 machine right there. 401, Dominic Hewick. 404, Caleb Aguilar. Beautiful driver, I must say so myself. Shane Vicari, 99 on the 666. Kevin Santana.
And we'll let the rest go by on the bottom of your screen. That is the green flag for the GTP field. The LMP2 field was instructed to leave a bit of a gap there. They are taking the green flag now in LMP2. And then deeper down the order, here come the GT3 cars up and over the hill. This was the bridge where race admins wanted them to leave a gap to. And here they go down to the green flag now. A Mustang leading the way. That is Austin O'Neill at the front of the GTD field. They are green.
Beautiful, and as I said, you'll see a lot of side-by-side coming into this turn 1, especially off of the green here.
And back up to GTP as they round turns 6 and 7 for the first time. Ross Banfield out ahead. Nathan Dowd has fallen to the second spot. Dalton Fredericks jumps up to second, rather. Dowd into third. Richard Kumlin slow, and that is the 405, it looks like. Actually, yes, it is the 405. There was another car slow, Jordan Hendricks slow, out of turn 7. That's going to mix up GTPs with LMP2s now. That's always difficult to go with.
Especially with how close they are. The only real difference between LMP2 and GTPs is the hybrid and the little bit of extra aero, so it's going to be a bit more fighting for him to get out of that.
Nathan Dowd hounding Dalton Fredericks. 1 lap complete now for the GTP field. The LMP2 field comes down the hill. 1 car slow. Jeremy Morrison. Morrison in all kinds of trouble down the hill. He's now in the way of these LMP2s. But 1 lap now complete for the LMP2s as well. A somewhat uneventful lap. Somewhat eventful, as here come the GTDs down the hill to complete their first lap of action. Here comes Austin O'Neill over Brenton Foster and Brian Bennett, and they will complete lap number 1 for the GTD field.
They are holding quite close to each other so far. It's going to be a close field. I have a feeling about it.
Now, of course, we didn't get to go over the Whiplash SimCam's race details, but this is an IMSA-style multi-class event. We'll do so now. IMSA classes, no tire limit for these drivers, 100% fuel limit, open setup, a penalty every 20 incidents, then 10 incidents thereafter, no cautions, 1 fast fix. The point of IMSA classes brings me to this next graphic that I'm about to put up. This was built for the Majors 24. We can use it here again today. Why not? The Majors class guide for 2025 in these IMSA and WEC style events. There you see LMDH/GTP, LMP2, and GT3/GTD. We'll be calling them by their IMSA names mostly today, but the red, blue, and yellow holds true. We can use this graphic a little bit today, so keep those classes in mind, as this is Ross Banfield down the hill through the S's into turn 5, leading the way. The battle for second is on. Here's Nathan Dowd on Dalton Fredericks. Let's go on board.
Onto this straight, like I said, I think we're going to expect to see him try to get closer here, coming onto this straight. So back up, get a good run through this. Hopefully not get too messed up by Fredericks ahead. And let's listen to the car engine right here.
Want to mention Lionel Callisto's in trouble in the pit lane. Might need to take a look back at that. Let's go ahead and do that as Dowd has fallen back a little bit of Fredericks down the back straightaway. Let's go back and see what happened. This is Dowd's teammate, Lionel Callisto, some time ago. Now Lionel is running down in LMP2, Dowd is running in GTP. And you can see a little bit of left front damage on the number 2 of Lionel Callisto. But it looks like he pulls his car into the pit lane. I'm just wondering if anything else happens here, or if the damage has already been done.
You wonder if it caused some suspension damage there. You can see him turning his wheel a bit more to the right than usual. It may have, whatever contact he had there.
Yeah, I think we came in just after the contact, because look at this, steering wheel offset to the right quite a bit. That is not where you want that to be, so let's go back a little bit further, perhaps, and see if we can find it. This is the beginning of that lap, and even there you can see the left front damage impacting him. So I would imagine this has been that way for a little bit longer. Let's try one more time, get back to the back end of that lap, and it's going to happen right here, it looks like, down in 10A, 10B, and down the hill at 11 and 12. He's in traffic. Ah, that was that slow GTP I had called out.
A small little clip, but that can mess with the suspension quite a bit.
And that was Jeremy Morrison in the 75 car. one of the GTP drivers seems like maybe coming to grips with that Cadillac still, got bodied by one of those LMP2s and skidded to a stop.
Slammed on his brakes there, locking up, and yeah, no, just slowing down a bit too much, and it was hard to see that coming from the onboard.
Back up to the top end of the grid. This is Frederick still over Dowd.
And closer than we saw last time. He's looking for that slipstream down this. I don't know if he wants to take his chance anywhere else.
So we kind of expect, you and I, we talked about it pre-race, we kind of expect the first 20 or so minutes to be pretty chaotic, especially when these guys first come around to lap the GTD and LMP2 field. From then, we expect it to calm down a little bit. Traffic will be an issue all day long, and then the last 20 minutes or so, they tend to always be chaotic here at Road Atlanta. There's a pass now for second. Dowd actually gets by Fredericks in the final corner. They're still racing. Here we go to turn one.
He backs up, knowing better than just try to send it from there without being side by side first.
Yeah, that was smart of Fredericks to back out. But there you see race leader Ross Banfield in the midst of GTD traffic now, passing some Porsches and whatnot as one car is slow. Fabio Braga now slow, and that's a lot of damage in turn one. One other car is sliding. That was Jordan Hendricks.
That looked either like a huge mistake on his part or someone got alongside. Let's take a look.
This will first be the issue for Fabio Braga here in the blue and yellow Porsche out of Brazil. He's got an Acura up ahead, a Porsche behind, and down into turn one, just loses it, overstepped the bounds a little bit, got in the grass. That is a big hit.
That's fast repair right there. That's where it's going to go, and he just has to hope to stay out of that for the rest of the race.
Here's the onboard. Big hit.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to widen up that first and carry a lot of speed through it, and it just a bit too far out, clip the grass, and spin around you go.
Now the moment for Jordan Hendricks. Sorry to cut you off there. This is Jordan Hendricks down into turn one. This is a BMW GTP. And this is in the midst of that spin for Braga. Hendricks just clips that curving there on the right side of the racetrack. That sends one LMP2 careening into the grass to miss it. And others passing him at the top of the hill there to try and get by.
Yeah, in the midst of a lot of LMP2 traffic, they seem to be a decent chunk faster than him. He probably was quite spooked after that.
And the LMP2 drivers, they're cutthroat. If they can get to you and you're a GTP driver, you got to watch out, because they will absolutely do everything they can to pass you and keep you behind them, despite you having the hybrid power. They are cutthroat. They will, if they pass you any point in time, they expect to have the racetrack pretty much. So LMP2 guys, they are ferocious, I'd say. They definitely... They want to pass GTPs just for bragging rights if they possibly can. This is the battle at the top end of LMP2 currently. Justin Barrera and Christian Challoner. And this is interesting. Both drivers at the top end of the driver standings right now. They're in different classes, and they're both second in their respective classes. Dowd is second in GTP, Challoner second in LMP2. So as far as the driver standings go here in Americas, this is going to be very interesting this round if they both finish second and take the same points.
That would lead to quite the complication within the point standing here. We could see some absolutely fabulous races for the rest of the season if that happens. Both of which fighting to take that lead and keep it out of Road America here. Or Road Atlanta, sorry.
Oh, I've done it a million times myself, don't worry. Yeah, I will say the point standings are going to be interesting, as you say, into these last few rounds. This is round 9 of 12. Let's go ahead and bring the schedule graphic up here. let's see, I'm looking for it. It's been a long week. Here it is. So we started off at Daytona, of course, back in January. 2 rounds at Daytona, the Daytona 2.4 and the Intimidator. Now we've gone through GT World Challenge, World 600, Speedway 500, Le Mans 2.4, Majors 24, the Grand Prix of Miami, even the World Series of Asphalt. Last time out at New Smyrna Speedway. Now we have IMSA classes on track at Petit Le Mans. Next up, NASCAR Next Gen Vehicles at Darlington Raceway for the Southern 500 that happened in reality last week. So that'll be an interesting round for sure. And then we have Gen 3 supercars headed out to Bathurst in the month of October for the Bathurst 500, and then Super Formula at Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix. These last 3 rounds, all very different. Despite 2 being road-based and 1 being oval-based, they're not similar at all. Very different race cars, very different race tracks. It's going to bring out the best in all of these drivers. A lot to watch for these last few weeks here. Last few rounds, I should say, in the Major Series as we extend all the way to November 16th for points-paying rounds this season in the Majors. What you're seeing right now on track is the LMP2 is now catching the GTDs and a whole lot of traffic happening all over the racetrack. Here we go for the race lead in LMP2. Challenger on Barrera into turn 10A, no dice.
He's definitely looking for it. That traffic was complicating it, though. I understand backing out there. I would have too.
Oh, and Barrera bullied there by a Porsche, and that sends the Porsche off the racetrack. I'm not sure who that was, but that was a very near crash for the LMP2 race leader. Here they are over the hill now, the top 3 all in a row, and that McLaren, I think, was wise to just get off the racetrack and let the LMP2 lead battle go on by. This is Barrera, Challenger, and Nash all at the top end of LMP2 with Dominic Hook right behind.
This is some close fighting. You won't find this in a lot of other spots on the track sometimes. All P1, P2, and P3 within less than a second of each other.
I'd say it's hard to find racing like this anywhere other than the majors, and to have 4, as you say, 4 LMP2 cars on top of one another like this at the top end of the class. It's a special stuff, and definitely want to take a look at it while it's happening. There are some battles on other parts of the racetrack. I will say, though, at the top end of GTP, you're not missing much. Nathan Dowd is 6 seconds behind Ross Banfield. That's for first and second. Banfield leads. Dowd second. Dalton Fredericks another 3 seconds back. And then it's multiple seconds between every other driver in that class. So GTP right now, not very close. LMP2 is where it's at. And even GTD is pretty split up. Austin O'Neill leads over Brian Bennett by about 5 seconds. I will say the battle for second is close, as Brenton Foster has reeled in Brian Bennett. That is for the second spot. There's one GTP right behind the Lamborghini of Brenton Foster. Here he comes. And that actually, I don't think that's Banfield. That might be one of his teammates, though. That is the 10th place car of Jason Wallet.
Definitely not happy about having to kind of fight these GT3s through. He didn't get past on the back straight, or first straight there, and he didn't get past before the S's. That's a lot of time lost for him.
You see Jason Wallet just takes off. When they get to the straightaway, the GTPs are just gone.
Oh yeah, no, it's scary.
So right now, the best battle on the racetrack continues to be that of the LMP2 class. Herrera still ahead, now by about a second over Christian Challenger. The battle now for second, really.
Using a GT3 to block him off there a little bit. Gain some space. It's quite the smart tactic, I must say.
So settling in about 14 minutes into this race. That's again a 2-hour race. And that means these GTD teams likely, being that they're on 100% fuel, they can try and stretch it out to make it to the hour mark. We will see a lot of teams, though, I think, make 2 stops. These prototype teams across the board should make 2 stops, maybe even a third if they mismanage their fuel. It's going to be interesting to see exactly when those pit stops fall and how they change the race. Because I think a big thing is going to be tires, especially in GTD. I think you want to take those tires. In the prototype classes, you may stay on the same tires for one of those stints. Weather conditions may dictate that, and we actually have a decently high track temp, 83 degrees on track, we may not see those tires double stinted after all.
The only reason I can see for a double stint here is to save some warmth. As we know with iRacing's update to the GTP tire model, it made it quite hard coming out of the pits to really do anything with them.
So perhaps if we see a short stint at the end of this race for any prototype drivers, maybe then they keep the same tires on, but probably tire changes all around. And I think across the board now in these classes, tire changes happen during fueling, I think.
I believe so. I guess we'll find out shortly. By shortly, I mean within the next 40 minutes.
Yeah, certainly within the next 30 even, I think we'll see those pit stops happen, at least for GTP and LMP2, as these LMP2s work by a slower GTD car there that held them up down the S's, but they got by okay. There is a decent battle at the back end of GTD, and here we go, big problem, Frederick's around. And that Porsche's in the wall.
With the GTD. 314 Porsche there.
That's Jeff Cardamone, he's still trying to get the car righted.
See if he's able to get it back around without either beaching or just deciding to tow it, especially coming down these S's here.
I will say Jeff is doing a great job to stay off of the racetrack during this process and make sure he stays out of the way. So props there.
Absolutely. Good rejoin, I'd say there. I've seen many bad rejoins, but that was what you should do right there.
Let's go back and see what happened between these drivers. This is Jeff Cardamone up the hill at turn 1, off the racetrack a little bit, so struggling already. And then here goes a McLaren to go on by. Another McLaren coming up, and then Dalton Fredericks, who was third in GTP. Fredericks tried to go for it. That might have been slightly ill-advised.
He could have shown a little bit more patience there. I've seen many wrecks just like that one, where if the LMD was just a little bit more patient, it would have been okay.
Here's the onboard of Fredericks. This is the roof cam, and this will show just how quickly he closed in on that gap. I mean, I get it, he's in a rhythm, but if he had known that portion was just off track and likely still had grass on his tires, I don't think he would have made that move.
You know, I saw a very similar incident like that just last night in the international races. And in that, I learned that GT3s need the full track to turn in there properly.
Yep. Yeah, the GT3 cars, with so much less downforce, they need a lot more racetrack.
Yeah, Fredericks definitely should have been patient there. But that's okay, he's back to gaining time. He doesn't look to have too much damage there out of it.
We did recently lose his third spot to Austin Peterson. Peterson has gone by. And now when I pull up this graphic, it'll update. There we go, to Peterson now. So 4/10 up the road is Austin Peterson, who has gone by Dalton Fredericks for that third position. And it seems Fredericks is losing time. It could be a matter of just overheating the tires in his slide, but I don't know. I gotta wonder if he's got a little bit of damage to that car that's hindering him just a little bit. He just doesn't seem quite as quick as he used to be.
It's also clearly possible he was a bit unnerved, especially seeing all those GT3s in front of him now. A little bit scared to go past him after that incident.
That's fair. That's really fair. So things starting to spread out a little bit, as we expect, around that 20-minute mark, which will be about halfway for the prototype classes in their fuel run, give or take a little bit. And Austin Peterson moving into third place. I look at numbers, and I like to notice little patterns and whatnot, little sequences, and just interesting things with numbers. I like numbers, but it's interesting. The top three, you'll see here there on the ticker, the top three in GTP all have just the number 7 in their number. You have the 777 leading the number 7 over the 77. I've never seen that before in my life.
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen nearly as many 7s.
I mean,
as I just have.
Without having a 7,777, I don't think you can have more 7s.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Unless you had a every number within the 7 that it's in, So you got 7, 71, 72, 73, etc.
Fair enough. Well,
But
a lot of 7s at the top end of GTP. The rest of that class is spread out. This was a decent little battle at the back end of LMP2. Joseph Holman has gone by Nick Kuhn, and they now pass up Brenton Foster in GTD. It's a very spread out race already, so a lot of these guys just trying to get settled in, and that's what you got to do in a race like this. I know this isn't the full 10-hour race length that we see for the real Petit Le Mans event, so it's not quite as grueling and enduring as that race, but this is still a longer race for a single driver to run. 2 hours is quite some time for a driver to run on their own. Usually you don't see many drivers go beyond that in endurance races. Some might do 3 or 4 hours, but not often. So 2 hours tends to be around the limit, and that's what these guys are up against here today. This is a longer race for them.
I've always said to myself and any of my friends who want to get into motor racing of any form, it's all about pushing your and the car's limits, and that is what they will be doing in this race.
Sure enough, there is Christian Challoner working on the back end of Justin Barrera. This is still the battle for the lead in LMP2, and this is an important one because based on the pace we've seen so far, Ross Banfield at the top end of GTP looks untouchable. It might not be that way the whole race, but right now he looks untouchable. But to me right now, Barrera looks touchable. It looks like Challoner can get there and make that pass here soon, as there was just a big send at Robert Nash on that McLaren. That was really impressive actually at the top end of the hill, but Christian Challoner, to me, looks like he can pass Barrera for this lead. This is about the only way Christian can gain points on Nathan Dowd right now in the championship, is to go out there and finish one spot better than Dowd, even though they're in different classes. So this could have big effects beyond just this race, as Dalton Fredericks is hitting the pit lane now.
He's got to be taking damage here. That's what I'm thinking, at least. Let's see if we see his car raised for tires.
He is leaving it in the box off the jacks. This does seem like a long time if it's not for damage.
Yeah. Would almost make me think that his pit crew's going a little slow, but I think he's just taking damage here earlier in the race, so he has the ability to make it up later.
The car looks untouched. I really hope he's not parking it. That would be unfortunate. He was a lot of fun to watch already in these first 20 or 22 minutes, so I really hope he's not parking the car. Clearly he's got pace. Yeah. Oh, is this a penalty?
Oh, did he get a 30-second already? Looks like he might have had a 30-second stop and go for that collision on the GT3, which I gotta say, good call from race control there. I might have given the same.
It was very early to see that kind of move, so the penalty, I think, makes a bit of sense. It shows how aggressive race control is willing to be, and I think they need to be. You and I, we were talking about it before the show started. These America's drivers, they tend to be a little more aggressive than other regions. I think race control is going to have to be on top of it here today, and that shows they are. So props to race control, acting very quickly on that within a couple of laps, acting on that incident. That is good response out of race control already. Here we go, back up to the top end of LP2. We've shown them a lot so far today. I think it's going to stay that way. They seem to be the closest class right now, and they are in a whole slew of traffic. Here's Challoner.
Down to this is, are they going to go for the same type of move? Yeah, they are, but they're going to make it right without dinging away GT3. That's good for them. Coming on to first small straight, coming to that double right-hander, 7 and 8. Gains a little bit of distance, but this could be good for Challoner. He could get a nice run coming out of this. And that's exactly what he'll be looking for here as he gets nice and close. See if he picks it up here. Searching for this slipstream. I don't think he's quite finding it here. Oh, no, there it is. behind a GT3, they're both going to get stuck behind him. And A10B smooth corners.
So Challenger still working on Barrera, about 0.3 of a second back. And let's just sit on this onboard for a second. Let the race play out a little bit. Dalton Frederick starting to come back through the LMP2 field, and Jeremy Morrison and Fabio Braga back on the racetrack as well. But this is just going to be a cathartic onboard, I think, to watch. Just Challenger doing some work, doing his best to catch up to Barrera. This is fun to watch. We've been on this onboard now for about a lap. And an even better shot actually would be his onboard here from the driver's side POV, watching his hands. This will be cool.
Oh yeah, this is where the masterfulness of watching drivers comes in. It can be absolutely beautiful to watch their handwork sometimes. They're catching these GT3s at a rather good time. Oh, there goes my GTP.
So some GTP traffic now overlapping. I'm not sure who that was going by, but they made it by in a hurry. Robert Nash goes for it on a Porsche in behind, so keeping the top 3 together out of the top 4. Challenger is going to be one to watch. He may also sit behind Barrera for a while and save some fuel and try to go deeper on this run. He also may surprise us. He almost looked for it there into turn 1.
I have just been trying to sell him a dummy. Get him to miss the braking point, get him around a little wide. Give Challenger the easy spot. But if so, the 403 did not fall for it.
Barrera holding steadfast in the race lead. Let's bounce around the field just a little bit. Check in with our race leader at the top end of GTP. Here is Ross Banfield behind the wheel of an Acura here today. And I want to go through the car choice a little bit here in this class because it's interesting. We had Dalton Frederick start up front in this field and go straight to second place in a Porsche, but otherwise Banfield's in an Acura, Dowd is in an Acura, and Austin Peterson is actually in a Porsche, so he brings the Porsche up to the top 3. But then Jimbo Pfeiffer is in 4th place in an Acura. Richard Kumlin in 5th place in an Acura. You're seeing a theme here, I hope. Sebastian Jackson runs in 6th in a Porsche. Down in 7th place, that's Logan Smith in a Porsche. Robert Covey in a Cadillac. He's our top Cadillac of the race. He runs in 8th. Jordan Hendricks runs in 9th in a BMW. We saw him earlier. And Jason Wallet completes the top 10 that are all ahead of the LMP2 class. He is in a Cadillac as well. Deeper in the order, we saw Dalton Fredericks. He is in a Porsche. There he is in an 11th. And then down behind the LMP2 field, as Frederick still works to get by Cardamone and others, this is going to be really hairy out of turn 12. He finds a way by. But Fabio Braga is out there in a Porsche as well. And then Jeremy Morrison is the final GTP driver. He's in the pit lane currently, but in a Cadillac. He just pitted. It looks like this might be for some scheduled service. Down in LMP2, of course, we know they're all in the same car. So as far as car choice in GTD, here it is. Austin O'Neill leads GTD in a Ford Mustang. Brian Bennett sits in 2nd in a McLaren. Down in 3rd, you have a Lamborghini Huracan. That's Brenton Foster. Trevor Clement in 4th in a McLaren. And usually we see a lot of McLarens. We see one there in 5th place for Richard McClure. But I think we're seeing a little more variety here than I expected. I expected this to be a McLaren Cup almost, but we have a Ford Mustang leading, Brenton Foster in a Lamborghini, which is all kinds of antiquated at this point, and then a Ferrari here in 6th with Chris Willard. 7th place is another Mustang. 8th is a Porsche. There's a decent variety in GTD. I'm surprised.
I always love seeing variety in any form of race. It's just so nice, so refreshing to see all the different types of shapes, and it really lets you see what car is going to shine here. I would not have guessed that a Mustang would be leading this. And a little paint call out to one of the GTPs up ahead, one of the Porsches, having that Rexy paint on, but for a GTP.
Gotta find who that was. I think it was, Logan Smith. Yeah, this
there
is a really cool car.
I love it. I've always loved the Rexy on the GT3. I'm happy to see it on a GTP.
We've got Dalton Fredericks firing his way through the LMP2 field. He's just gone by Caleb Aguilar. Aguilar runs in the 5th position in class right now.
Aguilar, quite the driver. I have had some personal experience with him. He is usually pretty clean as far as I've seen, and quite respectful on track.
Definitely need to be in these kinds of races. I know everybody always complains about the other class when things happen, but you just got to be respectful all around, and I think you'll get around okay. We do have one car pitting. This is Jordan Hendricks in GTP. This is a little bit early. I wouldn't expect a pit stop yet, but maybe he's wanting to pit now at 30 minutes, pit again after 45 or so, and then pit, run 45 to the end. Maybe that's his plan.
I think he's just going to try to feel it early, and potentially he could be taking a penalty here.
Yeah, I was going to say, could this be a penalty? Well,
no, it's not a penalty, not long enough. But he could be taking damage, and then beyond that, also taking some tires and fuel, and then he's just going to try to outlast the rest of the field on this.
Could have also pitted to get out of traffic if he was in a jumble, try to get it, get to the pit lane a lap or two early, get away from the traffic, and just run in some clean track. That's always a gamble you can take. We see that a lot. Weekly we have the North American Racing League, which is GT3 only, but even there they have a lot of lap traffic at times, and we often see a driver or two will pit early, take their pit stop, and just get out of the main line of traffic, especially if they're stuck behind slower cars, because they also have an invert in that series for their feature race after their sprint race. So they might be stuck in slower traffic. They pit early, try to get out of that traffic and run some fast laps. That way when it cycles out, they're actually ahead of where they were previously. So maybe that's what the goal is for Hendricks maybe, but we're watching now Joseph Cardamone on the back end of Kevin Santana. This is a decent battle in LMP2. There's also one ahead, Shane Vickery on the back end of Caleb Aguilar. So that driver that you're such a fan of is now stuck behind a Mustang and finds a way by there through the S's.
A little bit of a scary spot to get past. We saw just earlier how that exact pass could go wrong. But I would almost argue that it was a bit necessary for his race here to build that gap to victory.
Robert Covey now going to hit the pit lane. This another GTP driver hitting the pits a little bit earlier than we expected. But if you know your fuel stint can go about 40 to 45 minutes, you're going to have one shorter run if you run it all the way out, so maybe you take your short run early, Again, this could be a valid strategy, so Covey hits the pit lane a little bit early here. We do also have a battle in GTP. This is between a couple of Acuras, Jimbo Pfeiffer and Richard Kumlin.
Acura fighting, let's see how they coming down into the S's right about now.
You could hear there the stabs to the throttle from Kumlin, just a bop, 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 coming down the hill, trying to make sure he gets right to where he wants to be. It's interesting just listening into these drivers.
Part of that's managing the gap there. If he can go full throttle down it, I believe, but it would have put him so close to the driver ahead that it wouldn't have made sense. And could have caused a wreck, being that close, coming into a braking zone, who knows. And I love the sound of these hybrid engines.
Yeah,
Some
me
hate
too.
them.
It's a good sounding race car, and especially the Cadillac. I think the Cadillac, most can agree, sounds the best of the GTPs. At least if you're used to the American engine sound, I'd say. Maybe that's not a worldwide preference, but I'd say at least here in the States, it seems to be there's a lot of fans of the Cadillac. It just sounds so good. It sounds so growly, so earthy. I don't know, it's a cool sounding race car. We do have our first LMP2 pit stop, though. It's going to come for Dominic Hook, who's in the pit lane now in the number 401. This is a little early as well for that class, but again, if you know you're going to have a short stint, maybe it's worth it to take it early, as he will roll back out of the pits after about 40 seconds. That seems to me like it's a straight up 4-tire fuel and go.
Down also takes fastest lap from Banfield there. He's chasing. That's for sure.
Yeah, Dowd putting in the work, I gotta say. He wants to take away this championship. He has led the standings, I believe, every round since we got started back at Daytona when it was a three-way tie after he won in class. I believe it was overall and in class in GTP in the Daytona 2.4. So since then, he has been atop the standings because he also won the Intimidator here in the Americas region. He has not looked back at all. The gap has grown and shrunk at times to Christian Challoner and others, but he has not looked back since Daytona, and that's the big point. I don't know if anybody's ever led the entire season in the standings. Maybe we can get a majors historian to check me on that, but he has put together a very impressive campaign here in 2025, and as he makes these daring passes down the hill at turn 12 here at Atlanta, this is just capping off, or starting to cap off anyway, a really brilliant season for Nathan Dowd.
But it's still a good reminder, it isn't quite over yet. It can still be taken from him with one little wrong slip. Though, looking at this, I don't know if we're going to see that yet.
He looks really well poised, and if he's ripping off fastest laps, I mean, he's definitely comfortable in the car. He's gone for what seems to be kind of the meta of the GTP field, the Acura, so that clearly is working for him. It just seems like everything has gone right for Nathan this season, even when he's had a relatively bad round. Like, I don't think the World Series of Asphalt Race was particularly good to him last time in August, but even that wasn't a bad race for him. I think he finished top 10. So I do believe he's got top 10s across the board this season, maybe one fair finish outside the top 10. I mean, even Christian in his interviews has mentioned how good and how unbeatable Nathan has been, how difficult it is to catch up to him. Even when he has a bad race, it's not that bad. So definitely props go out to this driver, Nathan Dowd, as he takes a moment there behind that Mustang. That was close in turn one, but calculated for sure.
I just want to bring up, he is also dropping that gap to Banfield here. He's dropping it slowly but surely. It's just a few every lap, but with a 2-hour race, just a few milliseconds every lap is more than enough.
That's a good point. I did not notice that yet. The gap just a couple of laps ago was about 6 seconds. It was even higher than that at one point. It was about 7 or 8, and now it's down to 4 seconds. So clearly traffic working against Ross Banfield and working for Nathan Dowd right now. And there could be some bias there, actually, because, you know, I'm sure you had this moment when you're racing or have at least seen it. There's an inherent bias to fight the leader. You don't want to go that lap down, but once the leader goes by you, you don't fight as hard usually when the other cars come by you. So you're going to fight the leader a little harder and try not to go that first lap down, but then when second comes up, you fight a little less.
Yeah, well, I already went that one lap. It's okay.
Right.
I
think it's a natural thing in our brains.
Honestly, having felt it, it absolutely is.
Well, Dalton Fredericks has now pulled up to the battle with Christian Challoner, Robert Nash, Caleb Aguilar, and others in LMP2. He's actually passed Robert Nash and Caleb Aguilar, and will soon be up on the back end of Christian Challoner. And this will be for a position on the racetrack technically, because Fredericks had that penalty and was sent to pit lane, but he has actually as well passed Robert Covey, Jordan Hendricks, and some other GTP drivers. Here's a battle in LMP2, or at least it was. Joseph Cardamone has to give up time to Nick Kuhn. That changes the position now for 7th. Nick Kuhn takes it over. But all of this to say, I'm trying to get back to Christian Challoner because he is the driver chasing Nathan Dowd in the Drivers' Championship. And he needs to get by this driver, Justin Barrera, to at least keep up with Dowd, if not close in, especially if Dowd is able to catch and pass Ross Banfield. This is a must-have for Christian Challoner this race. He cannot afford to finish worse than Nathan Dowd today.
Yeah, finishing worse than Dowd, that's pretty much going to seal it in for Dowd here. So this is championship or not moment in this race.
And there you see Fredericks right in behind Challoner, so this will be something that Challoner and Barrera both have to deal with. The faster GTP having to pass for position. It should be, yeah, pretty inconsequential for at least Christian. And let's see, through the S's, this could be a little scary actually for Barrera.
Having that GT3 in front of him. Let's see if he's going to make it past. He's looking, he's alongside. He's going to just stick to it, and that's just going to build a gap between him and Challoner, which is absolutely not what Challoner would want.
Yeah, that actually extends the gap from a few tenths up to over a second now, as Jason Wallet will hit the pit lane, and this is about on the mark for GTP teams to start hitting the pit lane. Wallet one of the first, as Fredericks... We actually have LMP2 cars pitting as well. Santana's in.
I wonder if some of the drivers we saw earlier actually went short fuel for this first stint in hopes to make up some positions early.
We've also had an incident about a minute ago for Fabio Braga. While these pit stops begin, let's take a look at that. This seems to be a rather significant incident, and this will be Fabio's race because he's already taken that fast repair from the incident earlier to get back on the racetrack. This is Fabio Braga's second incident. It's actually the back end of it, so let's go back a little further.
At the bottom of this, we've already seen one bit there. Whoa.
This is even the back end of it. This is going to be a longer story than we had earlier even, so this is the incident truly now for Fabio Braga. He gets loose in 7, gets tipped by an LMP2, and then actually that was Nathan Dowd, I think. Wasn't it?
Take it off this front wing. That might have been. That looked like it.
Hang on.
Let's
back this up.
take a look.
If it's not Dowd, no, it was actually Jimbo Pfeiffer.
If it was Dowd, that could have
car.
been.
Wow. If that had been Nathan Dowd, that could have been huge, but apparently it seems like they're running the same paint scheme, so it must be teammates. Well, let's go back to Fabio Braga because this gets a little more interesting. He's going to run with no rear tailpiece on that car for most of a lap, and he gets away okay until the S's. This is going to be an interesting ride along with Fabio Braga here for a minute. You can tell there the car is unsettled.
Yeah, I would have brought it in personally, but he might not even notice that rear wing's gone already yet.
Here, I would think he would know. The high-speed turn 12, yeah, this has to be all right. Something's not right. But he's already passed the pit entry, so he's got to go back around at this point. He might back it down a little for turn 1. He's a little off, all over, battling the car. And then down the S's is where things get tricky. Right here.
Down, hits the curb. Might have hooked a little bit over, but that's not him losing his rear wing is not helping. It looked like his tire popped out there too. That could be race ending.
Yeah, this will be. He might be able to get back on the racetrack late in this race, but it's going to be so much later that it'll be nearly irrelevant at that point to his day. I mean, that's a big hit. That did knock off the left rear of that car, and unfortunately, it looks like he is also disconnected from the session, so that'll be a day ender for Fabio. We do have a battle, or a pit stop now, actually, for Brenton Foster. This is a tad early, but if you know you can't make it in GTD, you may as well pit early and try to stretch fuel out. I don't disagree with this call for Brenton. And that 22-second stop, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's indicative of being fuel only.
That's possible. These GT3s can be absolute tire savers sometimes. I've had times where I think, oh yes, obviously my tires are terrible in a practice session. I go in and check, and they're still at like 80%. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him still running the same set of tires.
And Brenton was running in the top 3 in GTD before he pitted, so this is a pretty significant stop to make note of, as Joseph Homan will go by on the outside lane, or at least try to there, in turn 6. He's got quite a lineup of prototypes behind him, does Foster.
That's gotta be scary seeing all these guys behind you like that.
Let's watch them all go by. There's one. Here comes 2. Oh, that's 3.
Whoa. That's close.
There goes the leader of Banfield. That's 4. So 4 in one straightaway, just from turn 8, or I guess turn 7 to turn 10A. That's a lot of prototype action as Banfield goes by, and question is now, when do the leaders pit? We've hit that 45-minute mark that we were expecting. This is an open setup race as well, so they could be trimming down the power to make a little more efficiency. They could be expecting maybe closer to 50 minutes.
Also, I guess we'll find out within this lap here. Make it past. Is that another GTP he just went past?
That was one of the Porsches.
That was...
Not sure who.
Made it look like an LMP2. That just tells you what type of pace Banfield here is on.
And that all, as Nathan Dowd has actually been closing in. Dowd has lost about a second since we last checked in, but still has been closing in overall on Ross Banfield. So, you know, Ross is doing all he can to stay ahead of that number 7 for the race lead. Logan Smith has pitted. That is a GTP driver of the 412 car. So that could be a sign of more GTPs pitting very soon. We'll keep an eye out here with our race leader, Ross Banfield, as he closes in on what looks to be, I believe, is going to be...
He dives in.
Yeah, he will pit. He was closing in on, I think, Jason Wallet, who was already pitted.
That's going to give the lead not to Dow. They pit on the same lap. This is going to be a race in the pits to see who gets out first here. They have to take at least fuel.
And let's see here. Does Austin Peterson pit this lap? And then we'll check back into our top 2 and see how they do leaving the pits. Yes, Peterson is in. Banfield, is he up on Jax? If I can get the right camera angle here. Yes, they're both up on Jax.
Pit stalls right next to each other. This could cause a little bit of drama coming out. We've seen it in other sports. I don't know if you've seen it here. Here comes the fuel.
Richard Kumlin has stayed out, so he'll go 1 lap further. Still waiting on this pit stop to wrap up for Banfield. About 8 more seconds, 7 more seconds. And this will release him with a relatively clean racetrack. There goes Banfield, and here goes Dowd. Peterson will be next to follow. There's another car headed in, that is Jimbo Pfeiffer. Jimbo was able to stay on the racetrack despite that contact he had in turn 7. And these drivers, they win about 40 laps, 39 to 40 laps. That's pretty impressive, honestly.
Absolutely agree. That's a long time to hold it out here.
In fact, here is Kumlin. He is on his 40th lap of the race. So very impressive to see these drivers go 40 laps on one tank of these GTP cars. They're not meant to go significantly long distances. You know, usually in the 2-hour stint that we talk about for a driver to run, that's usually 3 fuel stints. So this is, I'd say, decently impressive to go closer to 50 minutes for these teams.
Absolutely.
Fredericks also in the pit lane. I think this is to sync back up with his comrades running in the GTP class. This puts him back on schedule, despite being a ways behind, most of a lap, if not a full lap.
Well, this here could be unlapping him since he's past Kumlin here. It's going to depend on how he comes out here as Banfield takes back the lead.
Sebastian Jackson also went an extra lap. Austin Peterson has already pitted. So Kumlin and Jackson go the furthest distance on fuel here in GTP. LMP2 has all pitted now as well, and we await GTD in the pit lane here shortly. Let's check in with them, with Austin O'Neill at the top end of that grid. He leads this race in GTD currently by a healthy margin as well. 7 seconds back to Brian Bennett, so he's doing okay for himself.
That's an absolute skill difference, though I will say being the slowest class on the field makes it a little hard when you come up to traffic, because it's all going to be faster or the same speed as you.
I will say, for a driver to feel complete in multi-class racing, especially if you're going for IMSA or WEC style classes like this, you need to run at least one race in every class. You have to respect each class, because you if you're a GTP driver, you've got to know what the GTD drivers are going through. You need to know what they have to expect when you're coming up on them, and vice versa. If you're in GTD, you've got to know what a GTP driver is looking for when they come up to pass you. And if you're an LMP2, you just need to respect the craft there, because you're passing and getting passed at the same time, and that is a whole art in and of itself. That is very difficult to manage.
This is almost like watching Picasso do work.
Pretty much. Again, it is an art running an LMP2 in these kinds of races, and I have a lot of respect for those guys who basically main the LMP2 class, because they run it on common occasion, and it takes a lot out of them. Boy, does it. I mean, it's kind of the redheaded stepchild class of these kinds of races. It only has the one manufacturer here at iRacing. We only have the Dallara chassis. As opposed to having, I think, 6 GTP chassis now, and we have a new GTD chassis headed our way as one car goes off. That was, I believe, Jeremy Morrison or possibly Robert Covey. I think it was Covey. Regardless, back to my point, we have a wide variety of GTPs, a wide variety of GTDs, only the one LMP2. They almost feel underrepresented at times with just the Dallara chassis, no Orica or anything like that, no Ligier. So they just kind of have to sit there in the middle as they're getting past, they're doing passing. They deserve a lot of respect.
On top of that, it's an entirely skill-based field. I mean, the most change you can have to it is whatever setup you're running. Beyond that, there's no change between aero, really. There's no change between chassis, none of that. There's going to be like the difference on straights between like a McLaren and a Ford. It's just that Dallara and some hopes.
A Dallara P217 and some hopes and dreams as we go on board here with Thaddeus Marshall, who is chasing down Chris Willard. This is for 5th in GTD as Austin O'Neill heads to the pit lane a little bit early. I think he has realized and thrown in the towel here. He is not going to make it on fuel. He is taking tires here, though. So I wonder, I would think if you make it this far, you're likely only doing one set of tires in GTD, so you're probably going to go ahead and, you know, if you're O'Neill here, take this set of tires now, run a short stint on fuel, come back in, fill up, and run that set of tires to the end.
That's what I would think to do, honestly. Though it is unlimited tires this race, so it's possible we see another change. Just to get rid of that wear.
You're taking a short fill, though. I think it might take more time to do the tires than to do the fuel. There he goes, 41.55 seconds.
Quite fast with the 71 of Bennett in the lead for now, until I'm sure his pit stop comes in.
This is back to Chris Willard in the Fusion, number 32 Ferrari. The only Ferrari that I've seen in the field, whether it's GTP or GTD. We do have a Ferrari chassis in GTP now. That was added a few builds back, and that has been a rather fast car, actually. It's built to the LMH specs, so it's built to be technically a little bit better than the GTP cars that we see. It runs in WEC only, it does not run on IMSA, so I don't know if maybe it wasn't allowed for this race because it's technically not an IMSA car, but no Ferrari GTPs here today, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I was expecting to see at least one or two, and I have not seen any of them yet.
This battle in GTD still interesting for 4th now as they've passed Austin O'Neill with his pit stop.
See if he gets it back here, or if he's going to be just a little slow coming out.
Well, he's got to bring those tires up to temp, of course. So I'd expect he'll lose a little bit of time, but he had tons of pace in that Mustang. He'll probably run these guys down a little bit, but question is, how much does he gain before they pit?
Or does he gain anything before they pit? That's the real worry here, I think, for him. And that's the scary part.
Meanwhile, in LMP2, you're not missing anything. You know, that class was electric for a while. It was our best battle on the racetrack for some time. That class has actually broken up quite a bit. Robert Nash and whatnot, they have lost touch with the leaders of Justin Barrera and Christian Challoner, and even Christian Challoner has lost touch with Justin Barrera to the tune of 2 seconds or so. So you're not missing anything there in LMP2. You're not missing anything right now at the top end of GTP. You are missing, let's go ahead and take a look at it, a battle at the back end of GTP. This is Logan Smith in the Rexy Porsche, Robert Covey in the Cadillac, Jordan Hendricks in the BMW, and then Dalton Fredericks, who I think is, fair to say faster than the 3 of these guys ahead, just had that penalty earlier. He's probably going to pass all 3 of these guys. Question is how?
I'm thinking he's about to get this first guy up here on the straight right here. That's my prediction. When you're 100 miles per hour, we're going to come up to 2.
There's a lot of traffic up ahead. This is going to be a sketchy run down the hill. Whoa!
Oh, what a dive. That was absolutely beautiful.
That was a big move. He goes by the LMP2 now over the crest. That is, I believe, Shane Vickery in the 99 LMP2 car. Fredericks now runs through turn 1 and just has Robert Covey and Logan Smith to go through. Then he'll be through this little pack of GTPs.
I don't know if I could get that move off of my mind. That was an absolute masterclass. That would make even the likes of Daniel Ricciardo proud, I think.
It was a good one for sure. He's got to do a couple more like that, though, I think, to get by these guys. I mean, this is going to be tough going. It's always hard. It's easy to pass all of the lower classes. It's hard sometimes, really difficult to get by drivers of your own class, especially when you haven't raced them in a while. This could be another move of the same kind of regard here, down into turn 10.
Catching the slipstream, though, he's going to get side by side before he takes the inside, little squeeze, but not much. It's like he's just going to mostly let him through, see if he can catch him on the brakes here.
And Fredericks makes that pass.
Textbook along the straight there, I will say. He's treating these guys like they're an LMP2 almost.
I mean, he's got the pace. We know he's quick. He just happened to be in a wrong spot at the wrong time. Excuse me. I've been good about muting myself for coughs. Give me 1 second.
Fredericks coming down through the S's here. As the Porsche ahead gone off. Coming through the S's, coming up into turn 5 here. So you can catch him on the straight here. This would be good. Give him some time to run.
That was him breaking out for a solid moment, but that's a good pass there in turn 6.
Beautiful. Once again, I know I've been saying that a lot about watching this, but it's a joy to watch these drivers just do their work. As we see GTD coming out for a pit stop of Bennett in the 71.
Yeah,
41 seconds in, likely tires and fuel.
Yeah, Brian Bennett has made his stop. Really, the only GTD cars that have not yet pitted are going to be that of Chris Willard and Ryan Steele. Ryan Steele, one of our recent winners in the Major Series Americas. Of course, I think an important distinction needs to be made, and I forget to do it a lot, but this is, if you're unaware, this is the Americas region of the Major Series. There are 3 regions that run the same races, or similar schedule anyways, over the course of the year. In this case, this weekend, all 3 regions ran the same race. They all ran IMSA classes here at Road Atlanta for a mock Petit Le Mans event. They've run this whole calendar all year, just a few differences. And I can actually go over the list of winners real quick. Excuse me. The list of winners looks like this for regional winners. In international, in GTP, it was Sam Sutton. In LMP2, it was Thomas Hins. And in GT3, it was Lachlan Capel. In European racing, the European time slot, it was in GTP, Aldis Putiklis. In LMP2, Michael Haflidason. I think that's how you say that. And in GTD, it was Trevor Mavrovsky, who has won a bunch of races over there this season. I believe in international and European, I think, at least in European. So he's been really good this year. But those are your winners across the board. On the other regions, we're looking to crown winners here in Americas, as that is some crazy traffic over the hill right around Ryan Steele. By the way, Ryan Steele won in an IndyCar back at Miami the last time the regions had different tracks they went to. So he's the second most recent winner. Dallas Mataska won last time out in the late models at New Smyrna, but that was some crazy stuff there over the hill.
Absolutely, as Banfield also takes fastest lap back from Dowd. And as a mainly GTD driver, that's a scary situation to be in. Maybe a little bit of a code route even.
And while we have a moment, now that most pit stops are done with and things are still exciting all across the racetrack with 36 cars still running, but we have somewhat of a down moment. Let's go ahead and talk about something that is pretty significant to the Major Series right now. They have a race coming up in the MEC, which I believe is Majors Endurance Championship. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
So this event is coming up at this same racetrack with this same kind of class structure, I believe. It is the 24-ish hours of Road Atlanta. And as you can see on your screen, it's a 6-hour event, but the clock will be sped up so that it runs through a full 24 hours of day-night across the race duration. So it will start at one point in time, I believe during the day, on whatever sim date, and run through the night and back to that same sim time within 6 hours. So it will run a full run around the clock within 6 hours. The rules will closely mirror those intended for the 2026 MEC series, though no Pro-Am divisions will be in place. All splits will be determined by pre-qualifying pace of each car's two fastest drivers. So this is a pretty prominent event to be paying attention to in the Majors Series in general. This is kind of a branch off of the main Majors Series. The Majors Endurance Championship runs just longer races with a multi-class structure. In this case, they're taking, I believe, the same classes we have today. I could be mistaken, but I believe it's the same classes. Right back here, this is a pretty cool event. I know some leagues have messed around with speeding up the clock before, but this is pretty cool.
I absolutely agree, and yeah, it is based off of the IMSA and WEC series, so all the races, as far as I am aware, are these GTP, LMP2, and GT3 cars, and they are all a lot of fun with live adminning, so if anyone is interested, go over to the website and go sign up for it. It should be a fun time.
And I'll paste that website again in the YouTube chat, but I gotta find it. I already sent it once, but I'll send it again. It was majorseries.com, where you can find all this information about everything Major Series, whether it's the international, European, or Americas regions for the full Major Series of 2025, or if you just want to get in on the Majors Endurance Championship, everything Majors is located there at majorseries.com. You can find all kinds of stuff. I believe Majors Garage is linked there, so you can get to the Majors Garage as well from the website. But if not, I'm sure you can Google Majors Garage, and it'll take you right to it. So anything Majors will go through that website, majorseries.com. You can find anything you need, including information on this event coming up, the 24-ish hours of Road Atlanta. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not sure where the broadcast will be held just yet, but I'm sure the info will become available very, very soon.
I agree, and I just want to throw this out here for anyone who sees that there are price tags to some of these events. Coming from Race Control myself, we could always use help there, and you do get some credits for helping out.
There you go. Maybe if you want to run the 2026 Major Series, you can help admin the Majors Endurance Championship to get enough credits to run the Major Series next year. Maybe that's a possibility.
That's how I've been doing it, and I gotta tell you, all the guys in there, absolutely wonderful.
So there you have it. That's coming up for the Major Series. Again, that is the 24-ish hours of Road Atlanta. Going to be a lot of fun around the clock within just 6 hours of racing here at Road Atlanta. This is a fantastic racetrack as well. I know we get it confused with Road America sometimes with the name, but Road Atlanta really is a special place to go racing. I mean, you can see it right here with this mess down at turn 10A.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Getting a
Ross
little close
Banfield.
to Banfield here.
Yeah, this is extra close there for the overall race leader.
And just one little mistake, like I was saying earlier, that could end up bad for the leader here coming through traffic.
And we've got a battle building on our hands. Look at the gap from first to second, just 1.3 seconds right now. Dowd has closed in a bunch.
We're getting to the under second territory here. There, you see him here. He's getting on him. He sees him. There's a car between them, but he can see him. This is gonna fill him up with some hope that he could potentially get this lead and just
that was a moment.
Almost turning himself there.
That was a moment for sure on the back end of that LMP2 car, but Dowd gets by okay. Now they'll go by Robert Covey, it looks like. Actually, that's Jeremy Morrison they're passing. Two very identical looking race cars. But that gap now up and over 2 seconds between Dowd and Banfield. There is... Go ahead.
I'll say traffic give and traffic taketh away.
Indeed, and there is a decent battle here in GTD. This is Brian Bennett, Brenton Foster. This is for second, so just as prominent as that battle for the lead in GTP, this is going to be good here soon. This Lamborghini of Foster has run down Bennett as Joseph Homan hits the pit lane. That could be the beginning of the second rush to the pits for LMP2.
It is a little bit early. I can see anyone taking a pit stop now having to pit again later in the race.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself. I think you want to hit at least 15 minutes to go, if not 45 to 40. And, that's my concern sometimes when you see these guys pit early to take their short run early in the race. I think it's better to just go ahead and run your full run as long as you can or close to it the first time or two, and then run your short run at the end of the race, because otherwise you could mismanage fuel. And that's my fear for Joseph Homan, is that maybe he's going to have to pit one time too many because he pitted a little bit too early the first time.
No, that's an absolutely valid fear. I had that fear myself during some events. I guess we'll see how it works out throughout this race. It's something to keep an eye on for us.
This is some clean racetrack night right now for these GTD drivers. I haven't seen this clear of a racetrack in a while.
Yeah, they're definitely going to enjoy it. They don't have to worry about any of these pesky GTPs or LMP2s coming up behind them and breaking them up. It's just these two chasing each other and running.
With some pure GTD racing right now, or GT3 racing if you want to call it that, and we can talk some more on some GT3 racing. It's actually coming to a head soon for the North American Racing League as we head out to Circuit Zolder later next week, or this week, however you want to look at it. Let's take a look at what's upcoming for us here at Pit Stop TV briefly. Monday, we actually have a full slate this week, just about 3 broadcasts in this next week, the next 4 days or so. Tomorrow, we actually go to Millbridge Speedway in Salisbury/Mooresville, however you want to look at that. It's right in between Salisbury and Mooresville, North Carolina, but regardless, we're going to Millbridge Speedway, a very famous racetrack in my neck of the woods, for the Gunslinger Challenge. We're taking big block modifieds there tomorrow night for a straight-up, heads-up, 1v1 kind of bracket-style race. 16 drivers will enter, 4 drivers will race the feature, only 1 driver will win the Gunslinger Challenge, brought to you by Regal Promotions. Check that out tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And then Tuesday, it's race 17 of 18, so the next to final race for the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. They are coming up to their championship finale next week at Las Vegas. Going to be a lot of fun, so keep your eye on that one. They head to Auto Club this week, and then later on, we have the GT3 finale for the North American Racing League. That is at, as I mentioned, Circuit Zolder, a fantastic circuit there in, I believe, Belgium, right? I mean, that's a fantastic place to go and race.
Netherlands, I believe, actually.
I thought that was Zandvoort.
Zolder. Oh, wait, it's Zolder, not Zandvoort. You are right.
I mean, I'll fact check both of us here. Circuit Zolder.
Yeah.
It is in Belgium.
Definitely be wrong. It is in Belgium? Okay, I need to learn my track geography, apparently.
No, that's okay. The 2 Z tracks definitely get confusing sometimes, Zandvoort and Zolder, but But yes, we're going to Zolder later this week with GT3 cars in action. That's the league I was talking about earlier that has that sprint race and feature race format. You can catch all of these races and more on Pit Stop TV on the links down below. You can just plug those into your search bar and find us, or use the username there at the end of those links and find us on those social media platforms down below. This battle is not going anywhere. This is the battle for second in GTD with Brian Bennett and Brenton Foster after one another. Bennett trying to run away, Foster trying to approach, and boy, it's getting good.
Got some faster traffic making their pass there. Good timing. Definitely saving both from some though. We get one coming up on the back here. The Lambo coming up on the back more. See if he carries us down to the S's.
It's interesting that Brenton chose the Lamborghini. We don't see many drivers do that these days. For a while there, it was the most popular car when it first released, but that was some 5 years ago now. I mean, it still feels like a new car to me. I've been on the sim now for, I think, 11 years, or close to it, maybe 10. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how long I've been on the sim anymore. It's been a long time. I know some have been on the sim longer. My point being, the Lamborghini still feels new to me, and it's older than most of the rest of the GT3 category. It's kind of the elder statesman now. It's a little bit behind. We need a new Lamborghini to fill the shoes, much like the new McLaren we finally got recently that is here on the service and that Brian Bennett is racing as. That is Christian Challenger making a big move on Foster. Tries to go by Bennett there in turn 12. He'll have to wait as there's the opportunity for Challenger to go by. And Challenger is now 5 seconds behind race leader Justin Barrera in LMP2. So that is a big gap now for first and second there. Oh, Foster, I thought had a move on Bennett, though.
Saw a little bit of a flash in his lights here. He's trying to distract him from these turns and get him to look in his mirrors, race in his mirrors, and make a mistake. I don't know if Foster's going to get that to work, though. Banfield finally dropping out of the 109s and a 108. Ooh. Cutting off the driver behind him here. Getting a bit of a bigger gap for Foster there.
You know, we talked earlier about the prototype driver sometimes just having to take the move they can get. Sometimes if you're a slower class driver, whether you're LMP2 on a GTP or if you're GTD defending over either one of those two classes ahead of you, sometimes you have to cut them off. You have to take your position in the corner because otherwise you can give up a spot if you don't. And I think Bennett saw that right there. He had to kind of hold Robert Nash back so that he could get onto the racing line and not lose too much time.
Yeah, which is an acceptable move. That is kind of what you're supposed to do in this series, is hold your line. But it can be scary sometimes to watch it happen.
It can definitely get dicey. This also could get dicey. This is Dalton Fredericks racing up to Sebastian Jackson. This is for 6th. And look at the traffic ahead as well. An LMP2 and a GTD. That got tight.
Oh. Almost mirrored an incident I just saw in International.
It was very close.
That was very scary.
This would be for the 6th position for Fredericks. He has been flying back through the field since his penalty. I gotta say, I know that camp isn't happy about the penalty, but it has given him a chance to really shine. And frankly, we do something here at Pit Stop TV. I know you're going to be new to it, Blue, but we do something called the North American Racing League Driver of the Day. It's just like, well, not just like, but similar to what Formula One does with their Driver of the Day vote. We nominate, though, 2 drivers apiece in this case, 4 drivers total, to vote for Driver of the Day in the YouTube chat. So we get to decide who's up for nomination. Honestly, Dalton is in my realm of consideration right now because of how much he's gone back through the field. If we bring up this graphic, he's been... Okay, that's only showing per class. Well, no. There we go. As low as 21st. So he's been down behind just about the entire LMP2 field and driven back through the LMP2 cars and up through half of GTP. Here he goes for a pass on Sebastian Jackson. That's a pass made. So he gets that spot as well. What's that?
A clean textbook on the inside there, and I absolutely agree. This is a driver of the day nomination right here.
Yeah, this will be somebody I consider for sure later on when we talk about that. About 25 minutes or so when we get down to the end of this race. He's definitely got to be considered. He has driven through the field at this point and continues to do so. I know he had that kind of self-inflicted penalty earlier, but man, it has been a lot of fun to watch him fly back through. He has got a lot of pace in that number 45 car, and I know that camp isn't happy about the hand they've been dealt, but that's the way it goes in racing sometimes. You got to play by race control's rules, and if the race control feels you've overstepped, you've got to pay the price, and that's what happened there.
I'd almost call it a little bit lucky that he's gone through the field as quickly as he has. I mean, less than an hour to get up here, I believe. That's quite impressive and potentially a little bit of luck involved, wouldn't you agree?
Is that a call out for the Lucky Performance Lucky Break of the Day?
Potentially.
Potentially. I like it. Brand new to these things, you're getting them down right away. Yeah, we do also do the Lucky Performance Lucky Break of the Day, and I think he's definitely had to have had some lucky breaks to get to this point, right? To get through all of this traffic lap by lap, not only just lapping the slower cars, but passing the faster cars that he's passed. He definitely has gotten lucky at some point. We just haven't seen it. That might be lucky. He's off in the grass. Oh my goodness.
Lucky. That was absolutely terrifying. Thought I was already seeing a race-ending crash there.
Wow.
Right as we were talking about him being lucky.
Yeah.
Might be a bit of a curse.
That might be lucky as well. Well, glad he hangs on to it there. Let's check in with an LMP2 driver who's making a pit stop. This is Dominic Hook in the number 401. He takes what looks to be full service, and this is right on time, 45 minutes to go. My only concern is, sometimes, depending on pace, we get one lap more than what you might expect. This might be a little bit too close. Is he playing it right to the end of the time, and could we go one lap beyond what he's expecting? That's my only worry.
Yeah, back in the international race, we went a whole 3 minutes past the initial 2 hours.
There you go.
And it could have potentially if that situation arises here again, that could mess it up.
So that could be a concern for Dominic here if we end up going into a little bit of extra time, a lap or two beyond, that could come back to bite him. I know these laps go pretty quick here at Road Atlanta. I mean, we're talking 108s for the GTP leaders, 112s for LMP2, 117s and 118s for GTD, but still, that could be a concern for anybody pitting this early in a prototype as Brian Bennett's around. This battle for second in GTD has come to a head.
Foster get in it.
Let's take a look.
I wonder, was there foul play involved?
So this is a little bit earlier in the lap. Brenton Foster has fallen back, actually. Here's Foster. He's down on the S's now. Bennett's already leaving the S's. So this tells me that maybe this prototype right behind him, the 412 of Logan Smith, could be involved.
Don't do it, Rexy. Don't do it,
side by
Rexy.
side. Yep.
Just a little tap. Oh, that hurts to see.
And the Bennett's trying to get back going, has all that grass on his tires, and loops it again.
That's potentially a little rough on him there. Wonder if he'll get back within these next 42 minutes. Let's just look at this one more time here.
We'll watch it here from the Whiplash SimCam's drones. I thought the prototype would have had him there. And I'm sure Brian thought the same thing.
Yeah, he just came in a little bit too close and caused a tap between him and the GTP. And Foster has to be ecstatic seeing him spin around like that, I'm not going to lie.
I'm going to take one more look at this, and I'm going to watch this from the 412's perspective of Logan Smith. I wonder... Well, that didn't give it a great look. One more time. Hang on. Live TV, ladies and gentlemen. But I wonder if he laid back in turn 6 so as to not run out of racetrack. I mean, you can see that was a lot of wheel for turn 5. I wonder if his car hasn't been turning as well as it has been earlier. I wonder if he just backed off, and that's why they were still side by side there. I don't think Brian was expecting that. And then there you go, the contact, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. See if he can make the time back there. And we'll see if a penalty comes through there. It's possible with the live happening.
It is very possible, especially with how quick they were on the Fredericks incident. The thing I think about this that is different is, again, it looked to me like Smith tried to back out almost, like he was trying to hold his car underneath him. I don't think he even washed up much, and it wasn't an aggressive move. I think it was just two cars trying to occupy the same space. I don't think either driver did anything crazy or wrong in that case. It just happened to be that they made contact, so they might get away with that one. But regardless, I do want to cover the LMP2 category briefly, because Christian Challoner is now about a full 10 seconds behind Justin Barrera, and we have not talked about them much in the last 30 minutes or so. Christian was on him in that first opening stint. Since then, it's been nothing really for the one car. He has been way behind.
I wonder if there was some sort of spin or incident of some sort that caused him to lose all that.
That's a strong possibility.
But, or maybe he gave all that time to Dowd, who is only about a second back, I believe, from Banfield here. That's... They kind of traded places here with that. This is getting fun to watch coming into the last 40 minutes of the race.
A lot of storylines popping up as this race goes on. Caleb Aguilar now into the pit lane. There goes a prototype. Who is that? That is Jimbo Pfeiffer. For a second, I thought that was Dowd. They have a very similar, I think, the same paint scheme on their cars, as they both race for Sector 5. But there's Pfeiffer in the pit lane. And this opens up the window, really, for everybody in a prototype. Whether you're GTP or LMP2, you can pit here and make it to the end, I think, pretty safely.
Honestly, I must agree with this, yes. This is quite the safe spot. Oh, some messing up rolling into their box. That's always a lot of fun.
And there goes Aguilar back onto the racetrack.
Being a GT3 out, he's gonna definitely let him by there.
We do have a battle in LMP2. How about Nick Kuhn and Dominic Hook? This is for 5th in class.
They're getting close. I can see a pass coming up here on the straight or down in turn 10.
Yeah, this could be a slipstream move for Dominic. He's got to run.
See it. Running. And side by side, is he going to be gone with it though? Still pretty side by side here. Oh, yeah, there he goes.
There's the move. Dominic Hook takes over the 5th place, or now at the very least. And Shane Vickery heads to the pit lane now from LMP2. So I would say within the next 20 minutes or so, even the next 15 maybe, we should see everybody make their final stop. Austin Peterson now has made his final stop. He's been running 3rd place for a while. And you can see there, 30 seconds. That tells me that might have been fuel only.
Like I was saying, they might run this last stint using the same tires. Keep that warmth, transfer it over to your final stint, and keep with it.
I was mistaken. Watch this. He's going to pull into his box. Let's watch it from the driver's eye POV. You'll see when he goes up on the jacks here in a second. Up on the jacks. This is tires for the number 77 of Austin Peterson. Just less fuel. So this is actually, and the reason why, you can see he was able to take a shorter pit stop, 30 seconds, but was able to still take tires. So he didn't have to wait on the tires. So at that point, you may as well get the tires, right? If you're running a prototype and you can get the tires on before fueling is done, does that make sense? If you're not going to lose any time, you may as well take them.
You would think you would lose time because of the cold coming out of the pits, though. But maybe there's something I'm missing here. I am just a lonely GT3 driver, so.
Well, there is LMP2 leader Justin Barrera in the pit lane. And he was up on the jacks. Tires are done now, waiting on fuel. And more cars are exiting. Nick Kuhn is now up on the jacks as well for Kuhn. And Joseph Homan has had a problem. This is a straight to the pit lane tow a couple of minutes ago. Let's see what happened for the 122 car. Oh, dear.
Oh, that's not good, especially so late in the race like that.
And he sat there for a minute before towing, so let's go back and see what happened here. Who was that on his bumper? That was Nathan Dowd, actually. Oh, dear.
Oh, this could be bad.
We'll get another couple of looks at this, but that was Nathan Dowd, points leader, and second place driver in LMP2. Banfield goes by. That's that pink car with the green rims. And then Dowd is on his bumper. And Homan has to check up for that GTD, but I don't think Dowd ever saw that GTD. Or if he did, he didn't log it in his brain, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's possible he simply didn't have the time to react here. Let's see it on this driver's eye view coming down.
Yeah, it all stacked up in a hurry. I think the realistic thing that happened there is very likely that GTD had to get out of the gas to avoid going off track, and Homan checked up for it, and Dowd never got the message.
Yeah, I have to agree here. That's what I'm seeing. And that's going to hurt both LMP2, and it could result in a penalty for Dowd.
It could. If I had to guess, I don't think it will, but here's the onboard, and we'll go back to live picture. And you could tell right when he knew he was done. He turned right back into the wall to keep the car in the wall and not affect anybody else's race. That has got to be frustrating for Joseph.
Absolutely, that's just rough. The fast repair might save him a little bit here, besides having to tow all the way back.
It seems he has been towing for, or at least in the pit lane, for 5 minutes. Yeah, I think he's done. So I don't know if he uses fast repair already, possibly, but he is done. It looks like he's out of the session at this point and calling it a day. This is the battle for third now in GTD. Brenton Foster has just pitted. That's why he's back in third and Bennett is back in second. So this is Trevor Clement, who has not yet made his second stop. He's actually on the back end of Brenton Foster. And I think for the most part, most everybody in GTD, if not everybody, has got to pit twice in this race, so they have to pit one more time. So Foster doesn't have much to worry about here.
Yeah,
also,
I think he's going to...
Pit lane, Dowd.
Ooh.
And those are tires going on.
Take away my expectations of not taking tires here. See if he can catch back up to Banfield. And potentially take the lead of this race.
So a 25-second stop. Log that number somewhere in your noggin. 25.6 seconds. Now we got to wait for Banfield to go ahead and pit. Here he comes.
Right on schedule. Almost lapping down at this point.
And we'll pull up the pit timer. Exactly how long is this going to take? 25.62. That was the number for Dowd. Anything beyond that, and we could flip the script of who's leading this race. Tires are going on.
I gotta imagine fuel's coming in too about here too. We'll see.
And there go the tires. So he's back down on the ground. 25.62, 25.08. That's a better stop for Banfield.
But he is coming out on the colder tires here. So Dowd has had battle lap to warm his. So we could see that gap go from 6 seconds to 1 quite quickly, especially with this traffic ahead of him.
So let's take this camera. This is the bottom of the S's. This is turn 5. So there goes Dowd, or Banfield. Let's wait on Dowd. It's about 6.5 seconds. There is Dowd through your frame. And with Fredericks right behind, albeit a lap down. So that's a decent gap for Banfield to work with. I think, considering he's nursed this already for an hour and a half, I think he can nurse this last half hour.
I can see it. This might get close. No, am I kidding? It is gonna get close.
What a race that has unfolded here today at Road Atlanta. This has been a really good one. There's some traffic actually for these guys to get through. Oh, that was close. That's gonna hold up Banfield. That cost him about a second.
That was really the deciding factor, taking him slower through 12 as well. See Dowd in the background there, about 4 seconds between them now.
It was just 6. That was 2 seconds now lost for Ross Banfield. And part of it is Dowd's tires coming up to temperature a little bit sooner.
Absolutely, and Dowd now also having to get around the traffic here. Fredericks following behind. Using up the curb, thankfully not dipping off into the grass.
No, grass
when you get
grass at this point would be suboptimal. If you hit the grass through the S's, you're likely crashing, if not at least spinning. Speaking of, wow, that's Robert Covey, I think, and Fredericks goes right on through. That's not for position. That was a big moment.
Fredericks, though, getting ready to unlap himself.
That was another big moment for Jeremy Morrison, who has had a rough day at the office behind the wheel of this Cadillac GTP. And, you know, I gotta say, I hate to use this replay to pick on or anything. That's not the goal. But it is going to show just how hard this car is to drive. Let's go on board. This is not an easy class of car to handle. It takes a lot from the driver. And this is going to show you a little bit of that right here. He goes just a little bit wide on exit, runs through the grass, jumps on the brakes to try and handle it.
Brake.
Yeah, and that's how hard it is to drive these race cars.
So almost and would have caused a big issue for Dowd there. Thankfully, quite avoidant.
Meanwhile, Christian Challoner, I've been watching this on Timing and Scoring the last little while. Christian Challoner has been back and forth with Robert Covey. Excuse me. Has been back and forth with him. Covey is a class ahead. And look at this! Contact between them now. Covey makes a mistake. Challoner runs in the back of him. That could be Christian's race. Is there wheel damage? I don't think so, but definitely cosmetic.
We'll see it on the straight here. See,
a little bit.
Looks like a little bit of wheel damage. He's wobbling a little bit to the left. Is he going to hold racing with it, though?
He will likely have to pit. I mean, he's got 3 to 4 seconds back to Robert Nash. I don't know. This is going to be a huge hit for Christian Challoner in the points gain.
Yeah, this might just solidify Dowd's run through the points and throughout the season. As we take a look at the replay.
Let's run this back a little bit further. So let's watch Robert Covey here.
Nice and clean through turn 1. 2. Gets on the grass there, almost loses it, and then just not enough time to react from Challoner.
And I think the immediate reaction is kind of naturally to jam on the brakes once you figure out that doing so can straighten these cars out. It can prevent a spin. The problem with that blue, excuse me, as we're seeing, is it slows the car down in front of other cars. It slows you down on the racing line, and it can cause a bigger issue. Because if he had spun out of the way, Christian might not have hit him, or at least might have had a chance to miss him. But of course, you know, he's a human. He's doing his best to get through the moment. And Robert's just trying to keep the car moving in a straight line as best as he can. So his brain, you know, is telling him, lock down the brakes, it straightens out. Unfortunately, that leaves Christian Challoner nowhere to go in that circumstance. It's very similar, almost identical to what happened to his teammate, Jeremy Morrison, out of turn 7 a few laps ago.
That's just minus the pickup there, but yeah, no, scary incident for both the drivers involved.
Oh, there
Challenger
goes
in the
Morrison.
pit. Oh, there
Oh,
goes
no.
Morrison.
That was Covey. I'm getting them mixed up.
Oh, Kobe.
So Covey around again, this time down in 10A. Again, this car hard to drive, and this track makes it no easier. I will say that.
Yeah, all the hills and all this elevation along it. Not to mention the 9-mile-per-hour wind.
Yeah, the wind will definitely affect these prototypes as well, especially in high-speed corners and heavy braking zones. It can definitely change the attitude of the race car a little bit. There you see Christian Challoner in the background. He has lost second place in class. He has not... Actually, he has pitted, and he took just a fast repair, so he is back on the racetrack now, good to go. But he comes out about what looks to be 20 seconds behind Robert Nash, so he will likely have to settle for third. It's not as bad as I honestly thought it was going to be, but it's certainly not a good situation for him in the points.
Absolutely not. It's just going to keep building that gap, and it's just not going to go well for him for the rest of this championship, I think.
Colin Fredericks now hits the pit lane for his final stop of the day.
Quite the late stop. It's got to be some wonderful short fuel for him. Hopefully he gets out quickly here.
Well, there are a couple of drivers that have yet to pit in GTP for the final time. Those being Richard Kuhlman and Sebastian Jackson. So this isn't quite as late as we'll see the rest of this race, but Fredericks back on the racetrack now, rejoins in 6th overall. There's Kuhlman, one car ahead, just had a moment. That was, it looks to be the number 76 LMP2 car of Joseph Cardamone.
Yeah. Probably just a little lock on the brakes, I would hope.
Ah! Jake Fox brings up a very good point. Very good point. We're over here having a cow about the points for Christian Challoner. I hadn't even considered this yet. This is where my COVID brain is. The 403, being that he's a triple number, he was assigned that number because he is not a season pass holder. He is not in this race for points, Blue. So Christian was in the place to gain points on Nathan Dowd, and no longer is. I think, unless Banfield's also not for points.
Would be in the same situation. They both now are going to be holding similar points. It's going to be Challoner basically in P2, ignoring the 403, and then Dowd is going to be in basically P1 of the GTP, points-wise.
So yeah, actually, if Jake can give us clarification on that, I thought Ross had the 777 by choice, not by assignment. I thought he had that number by choice as opposed to being assigned that as a non-season pass holder. I believe he's run every round. I thought he had a season pass, so I thought he would count for points. But if Jake can clarify that for us, that would be huge. That would tell us exactly what's going on for the points. That could really shift this big time.
And I feel like now is a good time to mention that these races, besides being in preparation for the actual Petit Le Mans, are championship points. So if you ever come by onto the majors and you race one of these, keep in mind that there are championship points on the line. Though we welcome you, no matter where you're coming from.
Can confirm Ross Banfield is a season pass holder. So that's what I thought. I thought you could choose a triple number by choice, but that you were assigned a triple number if you were a non-season pass holder. So that is good to confirm, as Banfield now gets held up a little bit behind the BMW, I believe, of Hendricks. That just held him up big time. And again, passing a similar class car is always that much more difficult, especially in GTP. Trying to find a way by. There's another GTP ahead. This is going to be tough stuff for Banfield here in these final 20 minutes.
It's just at this point relying on himself to keep him and his Acura ahead of Dowd for this win. About 5-second gap, 20 minutes left.
Oh, that's close.
Ooh,
Down into the
that's
braking
another
zone.
beauty.
Yeah, we're also talking about all this being final, of course, where they're running, imagining they're not going to have a crash. At any point in time, they could crash. This could still flip entirely on its head.
Could get it down a little bit too far into the grass up here coming into turn 1 and just lose it.
Just like that. Well, he didn't lose it, but that car did run wide into the grass. So
But that could have been enough for Dowd to catch him there.
and Dowd did close in by about a second and a half in the last few minutes while we've been talking and looking at Banfield. So Dowd is that much closer, but is also in traffic, and it's going to get really difficult to get through here. But we are at that 20-minute to go mark, and this is where we said it might get crazy. We've had an hour and 40 minutes to watch these guys and plan these nominations here, Blue. I usually tend to do this to all new commentators. I do kind of throw you in the deep end. I'm going to give you the floor for your nominations, but it also allows you to pick anybody. You don't have to worry about picking somebody I didn't pick. You can pick anybody in the field. 2 nominations, any class. Who you got for driver of the day?
I have to first pick has to go to Banfield. Absolutely dominant out here on the track. He's led pretty much the whole race, as far as I've seen.
That's a good vote. As a really good nomination. There's his stats on your screen.
83 laps led. Yep. Started first, currently first, highest first. He dipped down into second for a bit. That was out of a pit stop. I think I'm also going to have to go for Frederick here. I know you were talking about getting him in earlier, and I got to join in on that. He's been wonderful to watch, coming from P21 overall and dragging up into 5th out of starting 3rd. That's no small feat. You don't see drives like that every day in any series, whether it's random officials, beginner leagues, advanced leagues. It doesn't matter. You don't see that often.
I agree. Dalton Frederick is a very good pick. I might be kind of boring here with my next 2 picks. They are going to be non-GTP drivers. I want to give some representation to the other classes. I'm going to start with Justin Barrera down here in LMP2. He has led, I know it says 0 laps led, that's 0 laps led overall. There's no way for ATVO to track the laps led in just the class. Otherwise that would be on there, but he has led the entire race so far in LMP2. Justin Barrera has been absolutely picture perfect in LMP2, and I have to take him. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it for me. I know he's not here for points, which almost makes it that much more interesting that he has been up here controlling this race, that he's in the race at all. I mean, it's always interesting for me to see who comes out of the woodworks to run these races when they aren't for points. I mean, you saw Kyle Terzak in the World Series of Asphalt race last month. He nearly won the thing. Barrera could win it here in LMP2, and that could make things that much more interesting for everybody else. But down in GTD, I'm going to take their class leader for most of the day, Austin O'Neill. Again, has just had pace on the rest of the class. I can't look past him. He's on his way to earning a win. I know right now he's second because Brian Bennett hasn't yet pitted his second time. But Austin is on track to win this race in class by a wide margin. I mean, he's got 33 seconds back to Clement. Bennett still has to pit and will be somewhere in between there. But it has been a sensational day for Austin O'Neill. Has been first since the drop of the green flag. It has just been really good stuff for him. So I will finalize that vote over on YouTube and get that up for you all to vote on. I think we have 4 really good contenders for NARL Driver of the Day contention here today. As you can see on the bottom right on the graphic, you can vote over on YouTube. So go ahead and do so. Vote for the North American Racing League Driver of the Day here in the Majors Americas. We've got some really good options for you here today over in the YouTube chat. Now, I do want to get back to LMP2 quickly. Barrera, we were just talking about him, has that lead. He is now leading, of course, since Christian Challoner had to pit for his repairs. He's now leading by about 15 seconds or so. Call it 14 and a half, back to Robert Nash. So a healthy gap there. We've yet to see what the gap is going to be in GTD, but the gap right now in GTP is a little bit closer, 4.2 seconds as they run.
couple things I want to say. All of these drivers are beautiful picks for driver of the day. I would have put any of these guys up for it. And Rera, yeah, monster drive. And amazing time to get onto him as he was coming out of the S's there, coming through traffic. And that really showed him off. So take a look at Banfield coming through the same exact S's.
Oh, nice Jason Wallet.
Oh.
A bit of a moment here for driver 589. He's now held up behind some slower traffic. There goes Fredericks through the frame. That was pretty impressive. Barrera's there as well.
Got a few driver of the day picks in there.
Yeah, just a few. Let's see what happened here. This is down through the S's, but it's going to be on exit where it happens. Jason Wallet going to have a moment on exit of turn 7, so he's got a couple more corners to go through. Going to go by the 314 here. That is Jeff Cardamone. And then down here in turn 6 and then turn 7, something happens to Wallet. Just locks up, goes off.
It locks up, pretty much runs it off, collects a little bit of grass, make sure the lawn's nice and mowed, and comes back on a little bit slow.
I will say,
definitely not ideal.
The 3D foliage here, we talked about it briefly before this race got started. It's impressive to look at. It is cut pretty tall, so maybe iRacing should go back in and mow it a little shorter. Maybe that's all he was trying to help them with.
Yeah, let him know that it's needed a bit.
Robert Covey hitting the pit lane one more time, looking like he will make his final stop of the day here. And we're slowly, and at this 14-minute mark, we are slowly starting to lose more cars. Out of the race now, Lionel Callisto's been out of the race for 86 laps. Fabio Braga out of the race for 58. Joseph Homan's been out for 26. Caleb Aguilar has been out of the race for 17 laps. He had a big incident, it seems like. Adam Joseph Mailhut? I'm not sure, actually, on that one. But Adam's been out of the race for 12 laps, and then Jeremy Morrison's been out of the race for 11 laps. So they have been out for a significant amount of time at this point. And
it does kind of suck seeing my boy Aguilar out of the race.
Yeah, not ideal. It leaves us with 32 cars, and I gotta say, for a full field of 38 to show up here and 32 to still be running with 13 and a half minutes to go, and likely we should see all 32 at this point finish the race unless something big happens. That's impressive, and again, speaks volumes on the Major Series as a whole. This has been a privilege for us here at Pit Stop TV to be joining the Major Series for 2025. We started this relationship in 2024 with coverage of the 4th split of the Majors 24, and from then on, it's just been about building and building and building, and I really do feel like we have kind of fallen in here with the Major Series in a really good spot. I really enjoy every time one of these races comes up, and I really enjoy covering these races. I wouldn't miss it even for having COVID, as you can tell this week. For this round. So this has been a series we've wanted for a long time, and we're very thankful, very privileged to be here. So to Mike Willett and the entire crew, thank you once again for having us as we enter the final 13 minutes of this race. Again, make sure to check out the Majors Series at majorseries.com. Make sure to check out the Majors Garage. This has been a really fun race once again as we enter the final stages.
I gotta say, all races are like this. It's rare you see a race where a driver gets disqualified. I don't think I've actually had one yet. It's only been some penalties for some harsh driving, and that's all. So, racing standards up to just about anyone's spec here. As we're on with the 12 of Brian Steele.
And this battle that you're watching is for 8th in GTD. We haven't given much coverage to the middle of GTD, or the back end even. But they haven't been very active. They've been very spread apart. This is one of the few battles we've seen. Ryan Steele has dropped back a little bit behind Andre Saba. There's one LMP2 going by. That was a little last second, but Steele, right? Steele's got a great opportunity here to get 8th place back away. That or Saba may have just passed him, and Steele might be saving gas or something. It seems like Steele's a little bit under-paced compared to that Porsche ahead.
Banfield coming through traffic as well. And Steele drops back a little far coming into the S's here.
There's Banfield that you mentioned. He's still got a 3.8 second gap back to Nathan Dowd is looking like an impressive day at the office for sure for Ross Banfield. And for those of you teammates that are out there watching here today, I'm going to do something to help you out a little bit early. If you're maybe not in the race, but you have a teammate in the race that is going to finish top 2 in their class, I'm going to drop the Discord invite link to our Discord server so they can get an interview, so that hopefully they can get in, in a nice timely manner after their race. So if you are a teammate to one of these drivers that is planning on finishing first or second, go ahead and get them into the server with that invite link in the YouTube chat. As one car is stopped, who is that? That is Covey.
Oh, looks like he had a little bit of an incident here. Oh, and he tows.
Let's get a look back on how that happened. Seems to be a pretty significant incident.
Especially towing out of it. Yep, just brings it around too much. Does he hit the wall? Oh, yep, there it is. Look at that right tire. Way out of place. That's easy race-ending damage for him.
Yeah, he was full throttle trying to get it going again, and it was stuck in the grass, so he was properly stuck there, immobilized, if you will. Brenton Foster has a great battle on his hands. The 2 Italian cars in GTD going at it. Here we go, a big move from Foster. This is in turn 1 on Chris Willard. This is for position in GTD, and that was handled beautifully.
Absolutely beautiful pass from Foster. That was wonderful. Looked like he tried to defend it, but it just didn't work out right. He just was in it, and he was gone. See if you come back here, coming into these next few corners. Or Foster's just going to build that gap.
Still no second stop out of Brian Bennett. We expect him in the pit lane at really any time. He could be trying to save fuel to the end. He's got 7.2 seconds back to Austin O'Neill. Could that be his plan? Could we have been sleeping on it this entire time here, Blue? Could he be trying to save fuel and go deep here?
It's possible, and if he pulls that would be a driver of the day recommendation if we didn't already if we saw that earlier. I wish we did.
At the time, it was hard to say. We thought he was still due in the pit lane, but considering he's gone this long, I think we have to at least question it. Is he going to pit?
At this point, I don't think he is. He's in the lead. I think he's probably looks a little comfortable in it, and I think he's just gonna try to send it the rest of the way.
Yeah, I would say if
gonna just kind of kill his race.
I would say if you've gone into the final 8 minutes of this race and have not made your final stop, you are likely either very calculated or you are still trying to run a strategy out. Whether it's going to work out or not, we'll see. But you are doing one of two things. You're either trying to run a strategy to the very last drop, or you are just that calculated. I don't know. We'll find out. The Sector 5 driver, Brian Bennett, could be in line to win here in GTD. It's going to be close. He keeps giving up time. That's the other thing. He's been running 118s, whereas Austin O'Neill's been running 117. So he's just a little bit off pace compared to Austin O'Neill. Like he has been saving a little bit, maybe on entry, lifting a little bit earlier. Let's see. Let's listen here. Does he lift early? Not really.
Oh. I thought I saw that GTP behind him coming into his left. I was waiting for a spin.
He's pinning.
Oh, here we go.
We had to at least question it, but here he goes.
That's going to give the lead to O'Neill.
Yes, this will turn the lead back over.
Absolutely.
100% to off. There it goes. Austin O'Neill's just passed him. Question is, who's going to finish second now? Trevor Clement is 34 seconds back. This is going to be a short stop, I think, for Bennett. It should be gas. Yeah, gas and go. I don't mind the strategy. This is going to work out nicely. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier. Run your runs out as far as you can and just take the very short stop. I think this might be a really good strategy from Bennett. One that we didn't expect, clearly, but one that's going to work out for him. He's going to hang on to second place by 18 seconds.
That's absolutely masterful from him. Quite the save. When was his last pit stop is my question.
About 42, 43 laps ago, just like Clement, who now pits. So he and Clement, very similar strategies. Did not expect that at all.
That's the joy of watching some of this racing, is the things happen that you don't expect to happen, especially in these top splits. You see just 7 seconds worth of fuel and rolling right back out.
And here comes Foster. Can Foster get up to Clement here?
Take P3, take the podium away from him.
It's going to be close. There's Clement leaving the pits. There goes Foster on by. That's a pass made for third, but I don't think it's over. 5 minutes to go. Clement's got hot tires, released right behind him. We might not have seen the end of the battle for third.
Gotta agree with that. How close they are already, I don't think it's going to end anytime soon.
Also have a battle. Also have a battle here. This is with Jordan Hendricks and Logan Smith. We saw Smith in that incident a little while ago, I believe in the S's, I think it was, or regardless. These two are battling for position for 7th, actually, on track overall and in GTP.
See if you can get a nice run on him here. Coming into 6 and 7, and then maybe a run going through 8 and 10. We'll see. Turn coming onto the long back straight here.
And he's losing time.
Poor run out. That is a little bit crushing, but he's got about 4 more minutes to try to make this move.
While they continue to fight, let's go ahead and recap all of our class leaders. We'll, of course, start up top with Ross Banfield, who has led just about this entire race. If we go back to his stats here, 96 laps led, we're on lap 98. There's only been 1 lap that he was not first across the start-finish line, and it happened very early in this race, I do believe, I think under a pit stop, I believe, where Richard Kuhlman went longer. Kuhlman, yes, has the other lap led, so Banfield has led all but 1 lap here today and is on pace to lead every single lap in these final few minutes. That's an impressive run for Banfield. That is like 99% pretty much when it comes down to it. So, good day for Ross Banfield. He continues to lead by about 6.7 seconds. There's the gap on the bottom right of your screen. Back to Dowd. Again, I think he can nurse this to the end. It's a good gap for him right now. Justin Barrera still leads in LMP2. He's got 18 seconds and change as Banfield goes faster. Barrera has got plenty of time back to Nash. It looks very safe right now for Justin. And then Austin O'Neill has retaken the lead in GTD by 21 seconds nearly over Brian Bennett. And that is, again, just a very impressive run for Austin O'Neill. He has been out front all race long, much like the other 2 race leaders. So a very solid day at the office for Austin O'Neill. He's even gained some spots overall as a few drivers have dropped out of the race. He's got some cars coming up on him, including that fight between Hendricks and Smith. But there's a lot of smoke.
Hopefully he doesn't play too big a role. Yeah. See what happens here coming down into this. Are they going to be patient? Are they going to try sending along with him?
See, Hendricks backs out for there, but wait for it.
So looking for the side-by-side through the S's. He knew, he thought better of it, but he was looking. He took a peek.
And all three of those prototypes get by safely.
Here we go. Here's what I was saying earlier. Let's see. Let's look at this slipstream. Looks like he had good power coming out of it. Whoa.
Big problems, though, for Nick Kuhn. Let's quickly check what will likely be the final replay of the race and see what happened. This might have been the smoke we saw a minute ago, and that is a rather small hit, actually.
Is there something here?
This is trying to come back on the racetrack, and that's right in front of our LMP2 leader, Justin Barrera. That's the replay for Nick Kuhn. He has had a big problem somewhere, and he just cannot turn. Oh, wow.
And there's where he loses his front end. Yeah. I don't think we'll see him back out for this last minute.
Well, let's check this one more time to see how this started. I think he just runs a little deep, gets into the grass, and we saw it all from there. Let's get back to live picture, though. Let's get back up to our leaders. We're about to end this race. The 2 hours here at Road Atlanta are nearly up, and I think this will be it. There is the white flag, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. One more time around here at Road Atlanta for Ross Banfield and everybody else. This is going to be an electric final lap. Where's Barrera? There he is. So he's yet to get the 1-to-go signal, and then Austin O'Neill also yet to get it. Maybe he's got a lap and a half to go, but Ross Banfield out front by 8 seconds now over Nathan Dowd. It looks like we'll be talking to driver 777. And again, you go back to the point situation, he is racing for points this season. So he will take that point spot ahead of Nathan Dowd. Christian Challoner will tie him for points today, as Justin Barrera is not racing for points. It's going to be that much more interesting going into Darlington in a couple of weeks for the Southern 500. When we go back to oval cars, that seems to be where Christian's a little better, and Nathan might be facing an Achilles heel. But here we go, final couple of corners now for Ross Banfield. He has led since the drop of the green, save one lap under a pit cycle. And the pink and green Acura GTP gets it done in the Majors Series at Road Atlanta. He wins Majors America's Petit Le Mans. What a day for Ross Banfield.
Absolutely spectacular drive from Banfield today. That's just beautiful. There's no other word to describe it. Apart from maybe masterful. I don't know if you would agree with that there, but that's I think that's my final word. Absolutely masterful.
Certainly a great race for Banfield. You saw that moment for Hendricks in the background. Logan Smith was able to pass him. A lot of the GTPs now are finishing their races, but here is your LMP2 winner to be. It is going to be Justin Barrera down the hill and to the stripe in LMP2. He also leads flag to flag in LMP2, and Justin Barrera goes across the stripe and wins Majors Petit Le Mans here in the Americas region. One car left to go. Austin O'Neill will head down the hill and take the checkered flag. Austin O'Neill wins in GTD in Majors Americas Petit Le Mans action. What a run for each of these three winners. They were each arguably, I think pretty easily arguably, the best in their category. You could maybe make the case in GTP and LMP2 that Nathan Dowd and Christian Challoner were a little better at times, but I think over the course of these 2 hours, it's fair to say the best driver won each class.
I absolutely must agree. I think Banfield here absolutely deserved that win. And I mean, with a 6-second gap to driver behind as he pops some donuts off in the gravel, it's just spectacular. Honestly, it is a joy to watch.
A really, really fun day here at Road Atlanta. One more time, a big thank you to the Majors Series and Majors Garage for having us here today. This has been a pleasure as always. We'll go through your unofficial race results by class in just a moment. Of course, all of these results yet to be finalized, but I'd imagine they should stand for the most part.
See some penalties coming by. I don't think there will be any changes here.
No, I think it'll be pretty final for the most part. And there's the burnouts now from Justin Barrera, very well deserved. And there is Austin O'Neill headed down the hill. So let these drivers catch their breaths, finish their cool down lap. We'll do the same and then check out our unofficial race results. I gotta say, I know we didn't talk about it much. We of course got the drive of the day in, but did anything beyond what we talked about earlier kind of pique your interest for Lucky Performance, Lucky Break of the Day?
I don't think so, really. I think that the luckiest part might have been that run from just about last to midfield in GTPs. Though, the way that O'Neill knew that he was going to get his spot back was also quite lucky. That it could have ended up in a P2 for him, but he stuck to his guns. He knew he didn't have to overpush it, and he stuck with it and just got P1 out of it, knowing that the other guy had to pit.
And O'Neill still doing a burnout down the entire front straightaway here at Road Atlanta. An impressive one for sure. That Mustang makes a lot of power, and he's putting it all on display there.
When everyone hear that beautiful engine.
Oh, yeah. I said earlier the Cadillac might be the most impressive sounding GTP. This might be the most impressive sounding GTD car.
After having driven it, I agree. It's heavy, that's for sure, but it sounds absolutely wonderful to drive it. A real music treat.
Let's go back and take a look at your unofficial race results when it's all said and done here at Road Atlanta this evening for Majors America's Petit Le Mans. Of course, Ross Banfield beats them all to the start-finish line. We talked about that a lot over the course of these 2 hours of racing, but where does everybody else finish? Well, here's a look at it. Ross Banfield finishes first by 6.5 seconds over Nathan Dowd. Austin Peterson, the only other car on the lead lap. That's impressive. Those three had the field covered. Richard Kumlin 1 lap down. Dalton Fredericks 2 laps down. Definitely an impressive day for him. I'm glad he came back to at least a top 5 because anything short of that would have been disappointing after the pace he showed early, but he definitely could have been top 3 here today. Certainly, I think would have been if not for that penalty, but that's the way it goes in race control's eyes. He overstepped, and you got to pay the price when that happens. So, Sebastian Jackson 6th, Logan Smith 7th, Jordan Hendricks 8th, Jimbo Pfeiffer 9th, and Jason Wallet 10th. An impressive finish up top for those 3 that finish on the lead lap.
With Robert Covey 6 laps back, and then I believe not finishing alongside of Jeremy Morrison and Fabio Braga. I hope I did not mess up that last name.
Oh, I think that's about right. We take a look here at LMP2 now, and of course this is saying these guys are 4 laps down to the overall race lead, but Justin Barrera finishes 11th overall, but first in LMP2. Robert Nash will finish 2nd in LMP2. Christian Chauner, Dominic Hook, and Shane Vickery will finish in your top 5 in LMP2 here today. Ahead of Ray Partridge, Joseph Cardamone, Kevin Santana, Nick Kuhn, and Wayne Hutchison, your top 10. I don't think we said Wayne Hutchison's name at all today. He had a very quiet day, finishes top 10 in class. A good day for him over Caleb Aguilar, Joseph Homan, and Lionel Callisto. Callisto had that early exit, and then here's your GTD class, Blue.
Austin O'Neill taking the win, and the only other person GTD that was on his lap being Brian Bennett behind him, who had that pit as we saw. Brenton Foster, one of our picks, back in 3rd. Chris Willard 4th. Trevor Clement in 5th. Thaddeus Marshall in 6th. Richard McClure in 7th. Ryan Steele in 8th. Andre Saba, quiet day for him, though we saw him a bit in here in 9th. And Bill Daly, who I don't think we said his name, watched this entire race, so just like a few of the other drivers, quite quiet, quite peaceful, but a solid P10. Go ahead.
Well, Jeff Cardamone and Adam Joseph Mailhot are the final 2 cars on that listing for GTD. That'll do it for the overall unofficial race results. You see there, led 100 laps for Ross Banfield. That's an impressive day. Out of 101 laps, he led 100. That is a very good day for him. Let's bring him in and talk to race winner Ross Banfield. After 2 hours of racing, first of all, how worn out are you?
Oh, man. Pretty worn out. It was a little exhausting because I'm not used to having such a wide strength of field. So a lot of predictability kind of went out the window there with some of the passes.
We could tell it was difficult to work through traffic at times, but it seemed like it was kind of give and take. Like every time you had to give some time, you took it back. When Nathan hit traffic, I mean, how worried were you late in the race that he was going to get to you just by traffic alone?
I was more worried about getting set up with a pick and then hitting traffic at bad opportunity. Like if you looked at when he went into the pits, he was about 2 or 3 seconds away from me, and then all of a sudden it just took one bad bit of traffic, and then he was stuck at 6 or 8 seconds back. So I was worried that would happen to me. He would get past me through a pick, and I would just catch a car at a bad time. And our times on paper it looks like maybe I had him on pace a little bit, but it doesn't matter when you catch a GT3 in a bad spot.
It definitely seems like you had the field covered as far as pace goes today. Why did you unload so fast? I mean, is this a race you had circled on your calendar for a while, or what was going on there?
No, like I said, I am a prototype and formula specialist. I kind of botched the the Le Mans one pretty bad, but no, this is just kind of my normal pace. And also, I just wanted to get something on the board this year. It's not been too good season-wise. I can perform a lot better, and I know I can. So I just wanted to at least get like one win under my belt this season.
Well, Ross, you do exactly that and get a win, a class win, and an overall win under your belt here this season in 2025. Congratulations. Good to talk to you when it's all said and done. Go ahead and relax now. That was a lot of hard work for you, and you earned it.
Thanks.
Ross Banfield with the race win here in Majors America's Petit Le Mans. Let's move on down, and I'll give you the conversation here with LMP2 winner Justin Barrera Blue. This is going to be a fun one.
Brad, absolute dominant in the LMP2s right here. Brad, how are you doing after that race? How did it feel?
Oh, terrible. Like too much damage and too much incidents that didn't need to happen, but then I had to reel myself back because I realized like the field is just too much variety of I rating and skill level.
Would you say that skill level difference impacted your ability to make it through traffic?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there was so many times I had to check up or do something. I got a 5-second penalty after the race because I pushed off a GT3 on accident. I expect him to go wide, and he didn't at the last corner, and it just comes down to the skill level. It's like if you're in top split, you expect that they're going to go wide pretty much. Here, they're not looking at you, so.
How does it feel afterwards to at least carry out with the class win?
I feel good about that. I mean, I swear, like on my last, like 5 laps to go, or maybe 6 laps to go, I did 3 straight fast laps in a row out of traffic. The car was still had damage on it because when I came in, I had like 20 seconds of damage, and not all of it got taken. So I don't know where the damage was. I think it was on the side of the car, but the car could have been a lot faster. Optimals were down to 11.9s, and it kept just wanting to go faster. I felt great, except for when traffic got in the way badly.
All right. Well, beautiful drive. It was absolutely fun watching you work through all of them, even if it was a bit of a pain.
Oh yeah. Can I give a couple shout-outs?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd just like to shout out Zane Pumley Motorsports, the Shut Up and Drive It guys, Friend Motorsports, my friend Dom that raced with us, call him Dom the Dominator. He was back with us in 4th place for a long while. Unfortunately, he had IMSA fuel on, so that hurt him. He didn't realize until he got into the race, but he did an amazing job at keeping up with us. And yeah, my friend Dean out there that went to the NASA Nationals race at Ozarks to do track out there. Unfortunately, had an issue with his car, and that put him out. But yeah, and great. I'm gonna check out the broadcast after this is over. I appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate you too. It was great watching you.
Yep.
Go enjoy your rest.
Yep.
And that's Justin Barrera finishing first at the top end of LMP2. We'll move on down to GTD, where Austin O'Neill, I think it's pretty safe to say, I think we can end the poll now in YouTube, because Austin O'Neill, you are today's driver of the day, and that's got to feel pretty good. After 2 hours of hard-fought racing, trying to stay as far ahead of the field as possible, that's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, that was really cool. I didn't know that I was up for that, so that's a little cherry on top after today's run, but that was a fun 2 hours. I got a dirt win last year, and dirt's kind of my specialty in a way, and I was like, I need to get like a road course win, so it's just not a fluke thing, and I say I earned it, and it couldn't have happened at a better racetrack. Road Atlanta is probably by far my favorite place to go, and yeah, it was a great one.
What do you think it is about the connection between dirt and road? Because it seems like, I mean, Kyle Larson has been fantastic at the NASCAR Cup Series on road courses. I think he's just one example, but it seems like a lot of dirt guys can make that conversion over decently from dirt to going road racing. Is it maybe, you know, just putting it in the driver's hands a little more? I mean, what do you suspect is that connection between the success rate?
It definitely has to be a driver thing. Probably more of a seat of the pants feel. You're really not afraid to get the thing sideways in a way, even though you're really not wanting to do that here. But you're comfortable putting the car on kind of the ragged edge all the time, because it's quite frankly how you have to race dirt cars and stuff like that. And I can tell you the connection is even stronger when it's wet. No, the crossover between like a dry road course and dirt stuff, I feel is if you're pretty good over there, you'll do pretty well on the road side of things.
And you come into today top 10 in the standings, but a little ways out for the championship, but there's still spots to be gained. I mean, this will likely put you close to or ahead of Ryan Steele, Dallas Pataska, possibly even Christian Abate and Lionel Callisto. So as far as the rest of the championship goes, we go back to an oval here for Darlington very soon, and then 2 road courses straight with Bathurst and with Suzuka. How do you feel for those races? Do you think you can continue this trend upwards?
I hope so. My whole goal, I missed the first race at Daytona. I was on the pole at Indy for top split and my internet went out. So my drops are done. Like what I put, on the table every race is my point standing. So I'm pretty much fighting for the rest of my season points wise here. And my goal all season, besides outside of those races, has been just a top 10. If I can run top 10, I'll be top 10 in the points. And it's a decent goal for myself for the rest of this year for missing those 2 races. So yeah, I hope to just have a decent top 10 car at those places. Newer places to me, so I'll probably spend a good amount of time preparing myself for it. But if I can just get a decent top 10 run for the rest of the year, I feel like I'll be okay in points, kind of who I'm racing with. Like you said, I'm a little ways out of like the top 5 and the top 3 in the standings, but just put my best effort forward each race and see where I'll land.
Well, the best effort here today is good enough for the win and driver of the day honors. So congratulations, Austin. Good to talk to you. And hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Hopefully. Thank you.
Austin O'Neill with the GTD win here today. Gets it done over a healthy field of GTD drivers. Certainly had some strong competition from guys like Brian Bennett, Brenton Foster, Chris Willard. At least the rest of the top 5 or 6 or 7 of those guys were all pretty good and easily could have won this race if Austin had not been there. So definitely had to work his pants off. But Blue, I got to ask, a broadcast in now here with us at Pit Stop TV and another broadcast with the Major Series. Any takeaways from this one here today?
I need to learn drivers' names and paint schemes. There were a few times where I'm sure you noticed I would start stumbling on a driver's name because I wasn't sure if it was the driver or not, and it's a similar thing with pronunciation. But otherwise, I hope to be back in here very soon.
It was a pleasure having you. It really was a treat, and good to be here, as always, for the Major Series. I said it a bunch already today, but it's always a pleasure to be here for Mike Willett and everybody at the Majors crew. This is always a fun broadcast for us to take on any Majors event. So a good one here today, and here's a look at what's upcoming for us. No Majors racing for us for the next couple of weeks, but we do have this outlook for this coming week. This is going to be a fun week of racing. I am very much looking forward to tomorrow's broadcast, especially because this is a concept I've wanted to work on with a group for a while, just haven't really had the opportunity to do so yet. But we've got bracket racing. 1v1 bracket racing, go out there for 3 laps, the best driver moves on. And that is just such a cool concept to me. It's a tight little 5th mile racetrack at Millburn Speedway with big block race cars that usually race on like half miles and third miles. So this is going to be a really interesting set of races tomorrow. 16 drivers will enter, 4 run the feature, and I think that's like 10 or 12 laps to crown one driver the winner of the Gunslinger Challenge. It's going to be a special kind of event for sure here on Pit Stop TV. And then the following day, on Tuesday, we go to Auto Club Speedway for a pretty fun race as well. NASCAR Next Gen Cars, just like we'll have in our next Majors event. That'll be at Auto Club Speedway in California for the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series on Tuesday, September 9th, and then Thursday, September 11th, we head out to Circuit Zolder with the North American Racing League for their finale of season number 8 of their GT3 series. So, usually, Blue, I would put this on the new commentator as a surprise. I won't do that to you. Not today. I will say, I do want everybody to go ahead and follow along on our social media platforms down below. We do have our own website at pitstoptv.com. Otherwise, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and X, all across the board. Down at the bottom of the screen, you can plug those in, whether it's the full link or just the username at the end. You can type that in and find us on all of those platforms and follow along with everything Pit Stop TV and everything we have to offer. A lot of races coming up through the month of September. A lot of great races. We have more Sarah Racing, which is the Sim Auto Racing Association with late models coming up at Martinsville later this month. The finish of both the North American Racing League and the BRB Cup Series this month. We have the Major Series at Darlington right after the end of this month. I mean, a lot is coming up within the next month of racing, so definitely keep an eye on everything Pit Stop TV and everything we have to offer. I do want to bring up the graphic and officially show Austin O'Neill as the driver of the day, and when we nominated those 4 drivers there, Blue, did you think it would be Austin winning the vote?
Honestly, I wasn't thinking so. As a GT3 driver, I know it is definitely difficult to do so and to manage letting people pass you. I was honestly thinking it was going to be one of the GTPs or our LMP2 winner.
Well, Austin O'Neill is today's driver of the day, brought to you by the North American Racing League. And I want to give a big thank you to our partners here at Pit Stop TV across the board. Groups like Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Business, Cody Williams Design, Lucky Performance, and the North American Racing League helping us out to make these broadcasts possible here. And of course, a big shout out to the Majors Garage, helping out with everything the Majors has to offer. If you're interested in more Majors racing, do not miss what's coming up in the Majors, the 24-ish hours of Road Atlanta coming up very soon. That is September 20th, as you can see there on the graphic. Make sure to sign up today and get yourself into this 6-hour race that'll go around the clock. Going to be a lot of fun. IMSA classes right back here at Road Atlanta, and it's a preview of what the 2026 Majors Endurance Championship Series will have to offer. Thanks for watching here today. Pit Stop TV is glad to have you, and we had a lot of fun here at Road Atlanta. We hope to have you back very, very soon, hopefully, for the Gunslinger Challenge tomorrow night at Millbridge Speedway. If not, we hope to see you for the next Majors race next month as we go out to, take a look at the calendar again, October 5th, as we go out to Darlington Raceway for the NASCAR Southern 500. Gonna be a lot of fun. Until then, we'll see you next time. Have a great night.
Hey, you know that guy who just before the green flag keys up his mic and asks, "Anybody got a setup?" Well, this is him. This is Adam, and hey, Adam needs some help. On the other hand, this guy over here, this is Steve. Steve is a solid racer and he knows his way around the garage. Steve's problem is time. With a job and a family, he can't find enough time to build competitive setups and to race as often as he likes. But as luck would have it, Steve knows a secret. He lets the Majors Garage crew chiefs do the setup work so he can focus on the racing. At majorsgarage.com, Steve can get setups for over 60 cars on the iRacing service. So no matter what series he wants to jump into, he is covered. Anybody really should tell Adam. See you at the garage. Hey, you know that guy who just before the green flag keys up his mic and asks, "Anybody got a setup?" Well, this is him. This is Adam, and hey, Adam needs some help. On the other hand, this guy over here, this is Steve. Steve is a solid racer and he knows his way around the garage. Steve's problem is time. With a job and a family, he can't find enough time to build competitive setups and to race as often as he likes. But as luck would have it, Steve knows a secret. He lets the Majors Garage crew chiefs do the setup work so he can focus on the racing. At majorsgarage.com, Steve can get setups for over 60 cars on the iRacing service. So no matter what series he wants to jump into, he is covered. Anybody really should tell Adam. See you at the garage.